Join.
Testing. Testing.
Here we go. Thursday night. You know, it's the first show back in 2025. I hope everybody's refreshed. I know that I saw a lot of friends gaming over the holiday. It's just that's what we like to see. You know, we did this show. Now going on probably, what are we going on the 11th year here? I think we started in 2014. You know, it starts with gaming, man. This is what it's all about. It's great. I was on as much as possible. Played a little too much Warzone. You guys know that follow me. Little too much on the Warzone. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. That wasn't just because, I didn't have anything else to play. Tons to play. But as you guys know, I've promoted a long time now doing the twitch.tv, Mooch TV. That's M00CHTV on everywhere, by the way, every platform. But going to be doing a lot more streaming on Twitch. Good friend of mine, Echo JV. You guys know JV. I talk about him on the show all the time. The great James Vincent. We're going to be doing a lot of Warzone gameplay as we kind of go into that February, March, ramping up for Verdansk. We're going to be doing a lot of, if the Gears E-Day comes out, doing a lot of playthroughs on those types of games. It's going to be great. The channel's going to be a lot of fun. Go over and follow me over there. We're going to have a blast as we go into 2025, as well as you can see, I set a goal here for the show. They say to set a goal. So I said, you guys always give great super chats. So I said, if we hit 15 super chats, I'll make a video. I owe you guys a video as it is. Shout out to the great Gaming with Persona. Persona's here. Happy New Year to you as well, buddy. Hope you're having a great 2025 already. Great crew out there. See Kratos, Neil Augusto. You guys are fantastic. Please hit the like button, guys. Go ahead and share it out. Let everybody know that we are live. But we're going to be doing a lot on this channel this year, as well as over on twitch.tv. So please, guys, go over there and check that channel out after this show. We have an outstanding panel, by the way. This panel's unbelievable. I even had some great people reach out to me and say, Mooch, I want to be a part of the show tonight. I got the night off. And I said, I wouldn't think of a better way to bring in 2025 with some of the people that I've been podcasting for these 11 years and for people I've known for over 10. This is a fantastic show, guys. Please, hit that like button. Outstanding. I'm not going to spend too much time on the intros because you know everybody here. They're great. Okay? They're great. And they're here with us tonight. You guys know them from the M&C show. You might know them from a few others. The great Crap Gamer. Crap, I heard you were taking one more lap around Madison Square Garden before you came into the studio, but glad you could join us tonight, buddy. How's your 2025 treating you?
Man, you're only allowed to say Happy New Year for 7 days, right?
I thought we had till March, according to Seinfeld.
No, you only got the first 7 days, man, and then after that, it's a little bit much.
It is a little much. You're not wrong. Yeah. But I'm hearing a lot. I get a Happy New Year still. Crap, I get them all the time.
Oh man, I give them a funny look if I hear it after 7 days. Man. I'm like,
7 days.
You know what I mean? Like, come on.
He's so crotchety sometimes, isn't he? That Crap Gamer.
Exactly. Hell yeah, that dude. But I was like, I had put my stuff down and I had 25 minutes before the show. Right? I was like, I'm gonna close my eyes for a minute. Right? I get up. It's like 5 after 7. I was like, man, I'm getting old because I'm falling asleep.
Buddy, you're not alone.
Before the show, man, it's crazy.
Well, it's funny, just for the audience to know, Crap used to say to me all the time, when we first started doing CrossFire, I did it at 6 o'clock. And I said, you know what, let's go at 6 o'clock. We'll go long. And that way it doesn't go into the wee hours of the night, especially for our great folks over in the UK listening. I know we have a big UK audience. And I said, let's do it. Crap goes, Mooch, you can't do this. You can't have a show starting at 6 o'clock. Half the people aren't home. People are eating dinner. So I moved it to 7 o'clock. Crap, as we're getting older, I got to be honest with you. I'm right there with you. There's no way I could do an 8 or 9 o'clock show right now to start. Yeah. It'd be impossible. Impossible.
Can you believe we used to do 8 to 10 or something?
8 to 10? It was 8 to 10:30 sometimes, and then there was a 2-hour post show.
Yeah, I mean, man, that's crazy. Now I'm in there either right as the show's starting or a couple minutes after, and I'm out as soon as the thing's off the air. Man, no disrespect to anybody, but I'm out.
He's gone.
I got shit to do.
Crap, great to have you here, buddy. Shout out to the great J-Dub. He says, legendary panel. Let's go, Jay. Great to have you here with us as always. Speaking of old times and great people, I couldn't start 2025 without the great Tim Dog. Tim Dog's back with us. Tim. Outstanding to have you back on the show. We were trying to get something to go end of 2024, but with scheduling and a few things that came up, we said, why don't we make a big kickoff for 25? So Tim, great to have you here with us, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Great to be here. Happy, nice panel, and we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of subjects lined up, so it's going to be a good show. Tune in and
man, people argue with Tim on Twitter, man.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, God.
Well, I see that every day. They're like, "Shut up, Tim!
You don't play no games.
You don't play games, Tim. What are you talking about?"
Tim is a traitor to the Xbox Nation.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a traitor, Tim. We love Phil. The guy's handsome, and we'd smoke crack with him if we could. Come on, he does no wrong.
That's why I love
how they hate me on Twitter.
10 extra bonuses and 10 new houses.
I'll tell you
how many layoffs he does or how many games he puts up.
Tim, you say they hate you. They actually love you, Tim. Trust me, because the interaction, they love you. They really do. Even if it's love to hate, they love you.
You know what it is? It's just like a new segment of Xbox fans that they're quoting
they're financial fans.
The financials, the financial
fans. They're
not
fans of Xbox. They're fans of the financials. If somebody brings up Xbox is winning because now everybody's going to play, then that's not Xbox. They're not an Xbox fan. An Xbox fan is like me and you, right? Like we fucking like the fucking box. If you don't got the box, then you ain't got Xbox.
Well, how do you? I don't care what the hell you guys are talking about. I'm a financial fanboy. It's their money that makes me able to buy the games. Well, shit. Okay, I'm with the stocks. Let the fucking stock go up. I don't give a damn.
The lines are blurred now. It's no longer like Xbox. It's a lot of PC gamers that is.
I got a kid in college and a kid in high school. I need those stocks to go up. So you guys can say what the hell y'all want. Make those stocks go up. I don't give a damn.
Well, it's funny though. Wise, I see where you're coming from, but the great Jay Barry makes a point. Jay, I'll introduce you. Jay, the great co-host of What's Up PlayStation Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern. Jay. Real quick, I got to be honest with you. I agree with you. I think the lines are burnt. It's not really console war. I don't know what we're going to call it anymore because the Xbox team has really kind of fluctuated over to PC. A lot of them, even a lot of the Xbox guys that are in the chat right now, they're like, Mooch, don't give me shit there. I'm on PC now. So it is the lines are blinded here a bit, But Jay, great.
You know what sucks? Mooch? I have 12 friends on Xbox now. 12 friends. That's it, right? I mean, there was a particular point during the Xbox One times where I had hundreds, not just followers, but like hundreds of friends. Now I got 12. You know what I mean? Like most of them, they've gone to like PC or they've gone to PlayStation. So
Discord.
it's like,
that's twice as many friends I have in real life. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I'm surprised myself. It's actually like 4 times as many friends as I have in real life. So it's crazy. I'm like, dang, man, none of my friends are around, and it's like some of them you haven't seen since like 2015 or something. It's like, oh, dang.
Yeah, I do see a lot. Yeah, I do see a lot of the hardcore crazy guys crap that were on Xbox over on PlayStation now. I do see a lot of them over there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They did move over. I mean, they don't talk about it publicly. I won't mention any names, but that's fine. They're over there.
Nah. They ain't passed the test yet. Me, P Rock, J Dub, we ain't passed the exam yet. So they're not.
Let me say this. As probably the only Nintendo fanboy here. If you don't want to go to PlayStation, we at Nintendo will welcome you with open arms, baby.
I don't know a lot. Nintendo people would not say that openly.
That's true. That is true. Jay, great to have you here tonight, buddy. How you doing, though?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Work has been beating my ass, man. So I kind of been on the low when it just comes to like streaming or this content or stuff like that. But everything is kind of dying down a little bit more, bit more in the office. So I'm kind of like I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old out here, Mooch, man. But
Who you
You're
telling
not
me?
old.
You're not old,
it's
brother.
20. We're not old. You know what I'm saying.
Oh, I know.
I
You're
remember
old.
you when you were young. I remember you 15 years ago. What was, I was
Yeah,
like,
man.
Dude, I remember he was in the Bang Bang stuff, and he'd always
Yes.
let's talk about it, crap. I'm like,
Yeah. We could go all day like Captain
Hey.
America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now
Hey,
it's
I'm
like
at 7:32 on Titanfall or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
Jake,
man, I don't-
when you hit 48, like 50, then you'll be like, fuck. I wish I go back to it.
really truly, like now when I see the comments, like the console war stuff, I'll just be like, yo,
Yeah.
all right, let me make this one comment, but I can't do 5, response. I'm like, nah.
No. I know.
But nah, we gonna have some fun today, man. Cause
Yes, we are.
we got some legends here on the panel. And listen, y'all want to hit this like button. Y'all want to share the stream out because it's gonna be a movie today. Okay. Listen, it's 2025. We're gonna get back into the fold. We're gonna get back into the mold, and got a lot of things to say. So let's get it.
Jay, we are definitely going to get to it. This is going to be a great show. I'm very excited to kick off 2025 like this. Speaking of legends, listen, a few people out there use some of my slogans. I got to use this one. I want to say it as I introduce him. He reaches out to me, says, Mooch, I got a rare Thursday off. Can I get on the show? I said, you don't even have to ask. You just show up and you're on the show. It's grand opening. Grand closing. P-Rock 77 on the show. Yo, Porter Rock, great to have you, man. Thank you for reaching out, by the way, too. That's great. Always appreciate when somebody reaches out and says, Mooch, I want to get on the show. You know you always you got a key to the show, man. You can always be here. But P-Rock, how you doing tonight? And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. When I saw your tweet of the show, I'm like, wait a minute, it is a Thursday. Like it's rare for me to be off on a Thursday because it's National Mourning, right? So
That's
I'm like,
right.
Wait a minute. What better way to mourn a former president than to be on CrossFire? I can't think of a better way.
I couldn't think of a better way.
For President Carter.
That's right.
This for President Carter. It's all for him. But hey, thanks for allowing me to be on the show. I know you say I'm always invited, but it's gonna be great. We got a great panel here. We got some great topics. It's 2025. Hey, crap! Happy New Year!
Yeah.
We're getting ready.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Hey, Florida, what did Lil
New
Wayne
Year,
say?
bro.
This is the Carter.
Happy New Year! Many blessings to you.
Yo, chat, by the way,
Let's get it.
tonight, chat, make sure you wish Scrap a happy new year, please, guys, throughout the show. That'd be great. Speaking of that, the great Death Singer who got to celebrate New Year's actually 5 hours ahead of all of us. The great Death Singer is back with us. Singer, honestly, I know a couple of the topics that we're going to start with really kind of are about your old home camp with Xbox, but we are going to get into the 50 series. We're going to get into your forte. But Singer, great to have you here, buddy. How you been, buddy?
Oh, it's great to be here. I mean, NVIDIA came out there, they slammed it, they just went, here we are. AMD came out and it was like, a fire in the wind. I mean, we already know who's king, and shout out to Assassin's Creed.
But why
Shout
is
out to
that?
them for quitting the battle against Avowed. I respect them for it. They bent the knee and said, you know what, Avowed, you got it, and they moved, so...
I told Singer,
I'm perfectly fine with that.
I said we never speak in absolutes on Crossfire, but I got to tell you, I said I'm not sure that's necessarily the reason they made the move, but I love where he's going with this, and we are going to talk about that. Singer, great to have you here. And of course, last but certainly not least, the great Wise Old Gamer is with us. And Wise, I say this all the time. You can plug your show as much as you want on this show, because I tell you, the one thing you do great in carrying conversation. If I'm making a road trip across this country, you're coming with me, buddy, because this man can talk as much as Mooch. I got to be honest with you. He's outstanding. Great to have Wise back on the show. Wise, how you doing tonight?
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Crossfire for the 2025 New Year's. I am the man who brings the fun in dysfunctional, the Wise Old Gamer. Thank you for having me on tonight. Yes, it is good. I am on the most electrifying podcast on Thursday night with the legends. Strife, Rock, Mooch, Crap, Bari, Dog, all of you guys, let's get this started. Let's get this party started right, baby.
I can hear your radio career picking up right now, Wise. That was fantastic. I loved every second of that.
Death Singer celebrated celebrated New Year's 5 hours in advance. I celebrated mine 12 hours in advance. For New Year's, we went to Dubai. We did the whole bombs over Baghdad type situation going, but we had fun in Dubai. So yeah, we just got back into the country and Ready to get going, baby.
Well, I'm glad you're back with us, Wise, especially for the show tonight. I'll start over with Tim. Tim and Crap, I don't even know where to go here first. I'll go with Tim. Tim, I'm going to go with you first because I know if I give the microphone to Crap, all of us can go and make a sandwich because Crap's going to go off for quite some time once he gets the microphone. Believe me, he's ready tonight. But, the one thing, Tim, that I've been saying for a long time on the show is of course, Game Pass. And when we say Game Pass hurts sales, and Chris String had come out and said this recently, and that kind of caught fire over this past week. A lot of people will say, no shit, right? Of course, right? Because there's Game Pass, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, Game Pass has ultimately hurt sales for them. You could see that it's kind of hurt console sales for them. It's also sent a bit of the quality of their games a bit down, right? Halo, not so well this generation. Starfield didn't do what they wanted it to do. Redfall was kind of a mess, right? Hellblade 2, just kind of here today, gone tomorrow. So when it comes down to it, I don't know if Game Pass is necessarily doing the great things that they say they're going to do. And the second part to the question is, Tim, besides Chris Strings, which I know you read that. Is the whole Xbox Prime thing. Here we are in the middle of a generation. The PS5 Pro just came out. Xbox said we don't need a mid-gen, but they're not going to do a mid-gen, but they're going to do a new gen next year. It doesn't seem like we're going to be able to move the technology fast enough to be able to, to kind of makes enough sense for the consumer to go out, spend another $500, $600, $700 on a new generation console, even if it is a hybrid and it is a handheld. I'm not sure I don't know if the audience is ready to do that quite yet. So it's kind of a topic 1 and topic 3, if you will, in the 12 to 15 I sent you, Tim. But I'm just curious what you think and how you think Xbox is going to be able to compete moving into 25.
Well, I think overall, Game Pass, and I was I'm a fan of it. I was definitely a huge fan of it.
Yep.
I think if you realistically look at it now, it definitely hurts console sales. It definitely kind of teaches your buying public to wait and to see if they can get deals. Like you'll see a lot of people say, "Oh, I'll wait for it to come to Game Pass." And I just think the model behind it, the pricing and where they think it's going is just completely flawed. So I think Game Pass is actually going to be an issue for them, especially going by their own statements. 70 million by 2027, 100 million by 2030. I don't even think that's going to happen, even if they add, free with like or like a low tier with ads, which I know that they were talking about barrier to entry.
Yep.
One of the last times I was like kind of in the know. But I can honestly say that I think it's kind of like becoming a detriment to them. It looks like it's kind of like it definitely hurt. I think it has hurt somewhat the console sales, and just just that whole thing around it. And everything that they're marketing is just it's kind of like they're hurting themselves from within. I think the day and date, and if you look really back at it, it was a bad idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a bunch of reasons that you could point to, but the reality is that the game sales aren't there. They would have made a lot more money with Starfield, I think, if they just sold it, not day and date. So I think some of the decisions have come and hurt them, and I just think that their projections, like the 2 billion gamers, or first it was 1 billion gamers, they're just not realistic. And I just think these are some of the smartest people in the world, or supposedly in over there in Redmond, and I just don't think that I think they lack a sense of reality, or they're just out of touch. And this is a big year, but I don't think they're going to hit over 40 million. I think they'd be lucky to get 40 million Game Pass subscribers, because people they're going to look for the loopholes. They'll buy the 3 months. They'll play for 3 months. They'll lose it. They'll resubscribe. They'll game share. The Game Pass just model, like I said, I just think it's I don't think you can compare it to Netflix. It's completely different. I just think that what's involved and what's going on, it's kind of becoming a detriment. And if they wipe out the console, you could kind of point to that. I mean, looking back, I mean, I never had a problem buying games. I don't think anybody here had a problem buying games. I mean, I had 500 games at the time that they did it. Now, yeah, did it give me more access? But did I buy Halo and all these games? No, I would buy the third-party games because I knew they were coming to Game Pass. So it definitely hurts sales. There's no denying it. The people get emotional about it. This Game Pass is very good. And as far as for the value for the customer, but I just think you're going to see a lot of changes, price hikes, similar to what they did here, because they're not hitting that 70 million that they talked about. And Phil himself said if he doesn't hit that, it's time to close shop. So you're going to hear another a twist and turn on that, I'm sure. Or they'll take it out of the product. Remember, Satya had these goals that they had to hit, and they knew they couldn't even come close, so they just took it out. So, Game Pass moving forward is going to be. This is a very telling year. I could see a lot of changes going forward. When they got to make it where it comes out in the green. I don't know if Indiana Jones. I don't care what anybody says. Did not make money. It lost money.
Yeah,
Hellblade lost a ton of money. And then as far as the Xbox Prime, the last thing that I was talking to them, the next generation of consoles, from what I gathered, are not going to be based on power, or not going to be based on things that we were used to, like the teraflops. They're more going to be based on innovation, which could be hybrid, and this is coming from basically people within their camp. And you could figure out who, but it was, the innovation's the focus, and I guess stuff like AI and these things that we talked about pre-show, like the frames that you get through DLSS and stuff, whatever they're going to bring up, that's going to be more the push in the future. And the next consoles that come out, you're going to see a different type of approach. And I don't think that Xbox, to be honest, I don't think Xbox, and I'm getting a little long-winded, but I don't think Xbox should really look at the thing, because they're going to have third-party consoles, and they have to come up with something really good, because I don't see their market shrinking as we speak.
Yeah.
But the 2026 Prime, I could say, I'll finish with this, that it is a possibility, from what I heard, or from what I was gathering. I remember I was saying, you can even check my tweets, that 2026 could be their injection to the into next generation. But you also have the handheld, which is supposedly a couple of years away. I just think they're so in flux that you really can't predict anything. Because they could shut down anything. If the sales get even worse, it's not going to be good for them.
Yeah. No, it's funny. So, Crap, I'll go to you because Tim made some really good points. I saw a couple of, Xbox guys that I follow, and they were like, looking back on it, they're like, maybe the day and date thing was a big mistake. And it was funny. Back when we said the double dip works, Crap, we said that back in, I don't know how long ago that was, 2018, 2019, 2020, somewhere in that range. We're like, the double dip works. They're like, no. Everybody wants it day and date. It's all going day and date. It just doesn't seem to be working that well. I understand the plan, and I could see in the boardroom where it made sense at the time. And I see a lot of people go in the chat, two or three, of course, the guys that don't want to hear it, that love Game Pass. They're like, Game Pass again? I'm like, well, tell IGN and tell Eurogamer. They're all running with this Chris String article, not just me. I'm just reporting this week's news. It was all over this week's news. Crap, what do you think? The double dip seems to work. You can see that the CEO from Sony said that console gaming's not going anywhere. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I think Tim made some great points. And these are things we've been saying for a very long time. Now that, some people in the media are saying it, now people are like, maybe that day and date wasn't such a good idea, Crap. Crap's wishing people a happy new year, guys. I want you guys to know that. He's sending cards out to everybody.
I'll say this, Mooch. There was a certain crowd of people that was, putting it out there in the airwaves, letting y'all know that hey man, this might be a detriment. You know what I mean? Like, I do think that Game Pass is a great service. Don't get it twisted. I think there's a market for that type of service in gaming, but there's two huge things that I felt like affected Game Pass tremendously. The fact that they did that $1 deal, it kind of devalued the service as far as like now people are paying $1 for umpteen years. When that runs out, are they going to re-up for the $20? Like, you know what I mean? Is it worth it for them to re-up? And as you can see by the numbers or the lack of numbers that they're putting out there, it's not substantial growth of the service after those deals are running up. Another thing is, they should have staggered the releases when it comes to their first party games.
Yeah, why not? Why not stagger the release? It's still, listen, the value of Game Pass, okay, and having this, it's the same thing like Disney Plus. You guys have Disney Plus. You can watch all the Marvel movies you want. You can watch all the Star Wars movies you want. But if a new Star Wars movie comes out and it goes to the theater, right? Does a new Star Wars movie going to the theater for 2, 3, or 6 months before it comes to your Disney Plus subscription, does that lower the value of your Disney Plus subscription? I don't think so. I don't think it does. I think it's great because at the end of the day, once you go and see it in the theater, whether you do or don't, when it comes to your service, you can watch it for what you're paying monthly. It doesn't. They should have done that. And I know you say it's Monday morning quarterback, but we've been saying this for a long time, Jay.
Let me tune in. Let me pipe in here for a second. We don't know, right? We are still in the middle of an experiment. Okay, streaming is still, for all instances and purposes, an experiment. It all started with software, with like Office and all of these other platforms, because they were being pirated out the yang back in the day, and people were like, they were losing money. I mean, you're talking about, for example, Adobe Photoshop and all of these. They were losing money with people just buying software and giving it to their mommy and daddy and all of this stuff like that. That's what necessitated the streaming for that instance, and it worked. Then they said, okay, let's see if can we do streaming via music? And well, with Spotify and of course Apple Music and everything like that, it worked. Okay. Then we moved into movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So we're still, like, for all instance purposes, and I want to play devil's advocate here, because I'm not saying I want to be an Xbox fan or not an Xbox fan. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, we're getting a lot of push and saying, oh, okay, Xbox bad. But let's take a step back. We're still in the middle of this experiment, and that's what it is. It's a freaking experiment. Nobody knows what paradigms streaming will work for and what paradigms streaming will not work for.
Wise, that's where I got to kind of pump the brakes, buddy. We've been doing streaming for a very long time. How much longer are you going to call Game Pass in the beta stage or it's in a testing stage?
But let me ask you a question.
We're going to be rounding 10 years soon. Is it the Game Pass model, or is it the product in Game Pass? So it's kind of like, okay, you have two buffets. You have one buffet with steaks and all of it like that. Is the buffet model faulted, or the products they're selling in that buffet faulted? Well, okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So let's forget the third-party deals that they have in there in the over 200, 300 games in the library. I don't know how many are in there now. But you had Indiana Jones go in there recently, right? That's a big game. That's got a lot of name and recognition to it. That didn't do anything. That didn't move the needle. Starfield, supposed to be Todd Howard's 25-year-in-the-making baby that he couldn't wait to get out there for everybody. He's been working very hard on that. That didn't move anything. Hellblade 2, the success to Hellblade 1, didn't move anything. So you can say that the products in there aren't good enough, but a lot of them have been quality has dropped. I think the Halo quality has dropped a bit. I think we saw some of that going on even with Gears. From where they came from 1, 2, and 3. But I mean, a lot of people are saying, hey, play Indiana Jones. This is a great game. Not moving the needle. I mean, we don't even know yet from Microsoft what's going on, but Call of Duty going into Game Pass. How much did that move the needle? In the first month when that came out, if it moved subscriptions from whatever it was, 25 to 30 million to 45, 50 million, they would have been, beating their chest and putting that all over social media. So if it's not moving it, Wise, my point to you is it's time to stop calling this thing, it's in its infancy. It's not. And now you have certified games in there that should be propelling the subscription service. The problem isn't with Xbox or Sony or anybody. The problem is this media, gaming itself, is consumed differently. And I'm not putting words in his mouth by no means, but recently one of the devs for Baldur's Gate 3 came out and said this. I've been saying this for a very long time on the show, so I'll use my own words. This media of gaming media is completely different type of media than it is watching a TV show or binging Landman on Paramount Plus, okay? Or watching Ozarks. This is different. It's not that same. It's not. But so that's the point. So if you have 400 games wise, but you only have 3 hours a night to play a game, your 400 game library doesn't do you a whole lot of good. That's the thing. It's just not consumed the same way. You could finish 2 bottles of wine and watch Landman on Paramount Plus. Okay, great show, by the way. But my point being is that like at the end of the day, that you can't do. You're not doing that. While you're gaming, you're concentrating your skills, your hand-eye coordination, you're paying attention to the story. This is what I hear from gamers all the time. So it's not really, I have to push back a little bit on what you're saying. You have the product in there now, okay? The price has gone up. They're also changing the rules to get certain games day and date. You got to be on the Ultimate program. There's 3 or 4 tiers of Game Pass. That wasn't what they prescribed back in 2017, 2018. But we all said that was going to happen, right? The price is it's $19.99 right now. What's it going to be to play Call of Duty next year? $24.99 if they don't if they don't take Call of Duty out. That's the thing. So this is what I'm saying to you guys. It's not necessarily, yes, it's a great value. I understand for $20 a month, getting 350 games in the catalog is fantastic. No one's arguing that. But clearly what was planned and what was said at the boardroom, I just don't see coming to fruition. It's just not, happening.
But what I'm trying to say is to say, okay, well, we got these great games and everything is in this platform that we want it to be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But now we are doing a 5-to-1 sale compared to PlayStation. Now we're doing this. Now we're doing that. And to say, oh, okay, this is the exact fault of it, and pinpointing Game Pass as, oh, okay, this is the harbinger of doom for that. I don't know if that is the
okay, I'll ride with you there, Wise.
That makes sense.
I'll ride with you. Yeah, I'm not blaming Game Pass for their lack of console sales. I think when it comes down to it, that's just their propaganda. Crap's been saying this for a very long time. He's been saying it almost every day on Twitter. If you guys are following him there, he says it all the time. They're saying this is not an Xbox. This is an Xbox. Everything's an Xbox. So the console sales, no, I'm not blaming.
I hate that shit.
I know. Well, I'm not blaming Game Pass. I'm not blaming Game Pass for lack of console sales. That's them just in their propaganda and their sales pitch.
Yeah. Reason being is because like I have, let me think, 1,400 games installed on my Xbox Series X right now, and that's not all of them, right? If I can't play those 1,400 games on all the bullshit they're saying is an Xbox, then it's not an Xbox, right? Like that's just how it goes, It's just, to me anyway. That's how I think about it.
Shout out to the great Royal Boyle as well. Porter Rock, what do you think, P-Rock? And I saw you did a great, I can't remember if the video you did on TV today or yesterday, but P-Rock, what do you think when it comes, that was a great video. And I love that. We'll get into that in a second, P-Rock, because you kind of did a real good job of saying this is not an apples to apples situation from what happened in 2012 at the showcase versus what's going on now at CES. But P-Rock, what do you think when you hear about this Xbox Prime? New console next year? Tim said it. It'll be a hybrid of sorts. They're not going to go after the T-flops, which is fine, by the way. That's totally fine. We all were not even into that this year, this generation. But of course, they were pumping that narrative nonstop from 2019 to 2020, and we didn't really pump the brakes on it until almost 2022. But what do you think, P-Rock, when you see everything that's going on here as far as Game Pass, the subscription service itself, and the new console that may be coming out next year?
So now that we could look at things in hindsight, right? Because we could look at everything throughout the years, right? Game Pass, like it or not, was a necessary evil for Microsoft, right? And look at it this way. Game Pass launched in 2017. So before Game Pass launched, you had Forza Horizon 3 launched in 2016. You had Gears of War 4 launched in 2016. And you had Halo 5 in 2015. Yet people still weren't buying Xboxes. You got your core 3 games launch, and Xbox was still having trouble versus PlayStation 4. So when your core 3 is launched, and you're not getting those 9 million sales like Halo 3 did, or 10 million, like Halo 3 got like 13 million sales. Gears of War 3 got like 10 million sales. Forza Horizon, we usually get 5 or 6 million sales. Now you launch these for the Xbox One, you're not getting those sales. And then you see your third-party sales just, atrophied. And PlayStation 4 is gobbling all up.
Yeah.
You can't rely on the a la carte market anymore. And I think they realize that. They realize we can't rely on this a la carte market because PlayStation is owning, it's kind of like let's just look at it as Xbox is the Epic Game Store of PC. Ain't nobody want to buy their games on there. They want to buy their game on Steam, aka PlayStation for the console market. So I would imagine Microsoft's like, okay, what if we move away from this a la carte strategy and try to get consistent money month after month, somewhere where Sony doesn't compete in? Because that's really what it's about. If you look at the Nintendo playbook, the best way to succeed is don't do what Sony does. Stay away from them. Let them have their area, do your own thing, and be successful in your own lane, right? And that's why I think Microsoft said, you know what, Game Pass is going to be our thing because no one else is doing it. So let's not serve in heaven. Let's reign in hell. Let's do our own thing and be successful at it. And what that does is you're no longer competing with PlayStation. Mm-hmm. That's an important part. How can you prevent yourself from competing against the biggest competitor?
But P-Rock, I understand if you want to go 1-for-1, that's fine. But I actually think if Xbox stayed true, okay, and there was no Game Pass, and they had the games come out that came out, especially what they got going on right now with Indiana Jones and Avowed, and they're going to have a South of Midnight, and they're going to have Fable. Listen, you can go ahead and say they wouldn't sell the numbers that PlayStation's selling, and I'm not talking now. It's hard to say that now because you're talking about 60 million consoles to 30. That's not what I'm talking about. Even if it was a dead race, you can even say that they wouldn't match those numbers of maybe The Last of Us 3 or what's going to happen with Ghost of Yotei, right? Or Yotei. But my point being is that they would have done fine. I think they would have done damn well. I think Game Pass kind of takes it back a bit, P-Rock. That's what I think. They would have sold these games. You don't think they would have done well with sales as they were?
That's not the problem. The problem is they made a deal with the devil, spending $70 billion.
Well, yes.
You're not going to make up $70 billion.
Sure.
It's going to take you like 20 years if it's just Xbox. $70 billion? Like, think about it. If the big company Microsoft says, here's $70 billion, that's not a free loan.
No.
You don't become a $3 trillion by saying, hey, here's $70 billion, and Xbox comes back, oh, hey, thanks, Microsoft, here's $5 billion back. No. They want $300 billion back.
Absolutely.
Here's $70 billion. You need to give me my $300 billion. You need to help us become a $4 trillion company, a $5 trillion company, a $6 billion company. And that doesn't work if you don't give us our $70 billion back.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That deal put them in a bigger hole than what they could dig themselves out of. I'm sure the CFOs looked at the numbers. They're like, wait a minute, $70 billion and Microsoft wants double, triple back? Game Pass is not going to do that. They're looking at like, that's impossible. We would need like 400 million subscribers or something. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Well, that's just too much money to put back in the pot.
Well,
that's just too much.
I think that's what the start of the third-party talk was exactly that. But taking back to 2017, I can tell you this much. At the start of that year, Terry Myerson came down on Phil and the budget and what was going on. And it was known, I had known it, Jez knew it, Rand knew it. It was being talked about behind, they were saying they were going all these different directions. And at that time, I think Phil pivoted. One of the first moves he did, again, short-term thinking, long-term disaster, is he pulled all the marketing from Europe and basically went to a minuscule budget. And, you're seeing the ramifications of that now. It's getting outsold 10-1. They were at one time, maybe 70-30 at best. In UK, they were 50-50, even leading at one point. Now it's like 3-1 in UK. It's just the numbers are just ridiculous. Complete fall off. You talk to these Xbox fans that are in those locations, France, Germany, they are always complaining, where the hell is the marketing? Well, that was pulled in 2017.
There's not even Xboxes in most of those places. They don't sell them anymore.
They're pulling out. So that was one of the moves. Another one of the moves was the pitch to Satya, because Satya, like I said, had Myerson in his ear about, what the hell are they doing? They're losing money. They're getting their asses kicked. And Satya basically was sold on the cloud and Game Pass because it's a service. That's what he was thinking at that time.
Yep.
And that was, again, it was Phil appeasing Satya, which he had to, because if he didn't, they could put it to kaputz. So, again, he was a little bit of a victim of that. But I think really what it comes down to is that day and date, that discussion. That's the reality of it. I think it definitely hurt hurt sales badly.
Let me ask you a question, since you're like about as much of an insider as I'll ever have exposure to. But
maybe.
Well, we famously know that between the transition between was it the 1 and the S, there was a debate whether that Microsoft should even be in the console space. Now,
yes, eternally.
Yes. Now, Phil went to Satya and came out and said, no, we should be in there. Now, Satya is a smart guy. Okay. They're like, there are a lot of number crunchers in there. Now, for Phil to go in and sell Satya a business model that is parallel to the prior business model that didn't work doesn't seem right to me. Like in that discussion, when Phil went to Satya and Satya said, I think we should close down Xbox or sell it off or whatever. And Phil said, no, we should just keep going the way we're doing, like we've been doing. Satya is not an idiot to say, oh, okay, well, it didn't work for us before, but let's keep going and let's see if it still works. What I want to know is what was actually said in that discussion. What did Phil offer Satya that would say, okay, this is how we're going to move it around?
Well, this is me, this is things that I've heard and stuff like that. First thing, Phil wasn't about the console. Phil actually pitched an idea of an Xbox dongle, which would just connect you to the cloud and have no console. But people like Ybarra and people who had, a good sense basically talked him out of it. So that was once being pitched at one point. So there's a lot of pitching and stuff like that. But what they went on, what Mike Nichols was about behind this, and they had a great idea with Game Pass. Mm-hmm. They basically pitched Game Pass and the cloud and the future, and let's have a console. And and that during that time that was all approved. Now, when you say Satya is a genius, you're completely correct. I met Satya and had an interview with him with 5 other gamers, which is Southbound. Stallion, I think, was there, and there was a couple of other Xbox fans, along with Aaron Greenberg. And when I can tell you that guy doesn't know anything about video games, he doesn't know anything about video games. So I kind of think that Phil has always been someone he talked to. Phil got him the Minecraft deal, which was a big deal. So, yeah. I mean, Phil has a lot of respect.
Yeah, but he's a businessman. He's not going. Doesn't care about the product you're selling. He cares about the business model.
You're right.
Phil cannot come to him with the same business model that didn't work previously.
Well, but the cloud and Game Pass was the new vision. That was what he sold him. Which the cloud, we never had that, and also the Game Pass, that's completely new to the field. So. Exactly. They wouldn't go around with if they were going to say, hey, we're just going to make a new console, we're going to still compete as we are as Xbox One. You're right. As the businessman Satya is, he said no. But he was basically told, this is our pitch, and he took it. Mm-hmm. Just like, his whole thing was he thought Mixer. Satya was all behind Mixer. He wouldn't ask about video games. He's like, what's going on with Mixer? And we all know what happened to Mixer. So... I mean, it's just been a lot of, when you have, and I don't blame Phil Wall for this, but when you have somebody like that doesn't know anything about video games and it doesn't understand the culture or what's going on with video gamers and gamers, it's just something that just doesn't work, and you get things pitched like the cloud 2 trillion gamers or whatever bullshit that was, and Game Pass is going to take over everything. Then they double down. Then they double down. Just let me just say
that's why I agree a lot with P-Rot though, Tim Dog, because the whole acquisition with Activision is like flying too close to the sun and your wings just burn.
100.
Because now, if you don't want to have Satya have those dealings or those conversations, too late now. You took his money.
What happened was, what I heard is they went over the books, and Amy Hood basically went ballistic in December. She's like, what are we doing? We're not making money. We're losing money you think that they're making a lot of money when games like, you think Hellblade 2, how much money that was put into that, doesn't even sell, and then Indiana Jones is 10,000 people on Steam. I got news for you. I got something to tell you. That's why they're third party, because they just don't have the sales to support the model.
Yeah,
and that's why you might be paying $29.99 at the end of the year. Guess what? Netflix does it, and Xbox is going to do the same thing because really, what other competition? And you know what?
Not only that, but the thing is, Tim, is that there's a lot of people. If you ask like these new age fans, you go, well, what's the point in owning an Xbox? A lot of them will say, well, Game Pass, you know. And the funny thing is Microsoft in a heartbeat would put that on PlayStation and Nintendo, and there still could be a way to do that at some point. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the full-on Game Pass that we get, but they could put first-party Game Pass on PlayStation or whatever. And then, really, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being honest. Because remember Nintendo, like Sony said no to EA Access or whatever, and then they eventually came around to it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, okay, well, whatever. But it's like when you look at how things are kind of run right now, it doesn't look great. And there was that leak. What was it, in January or February? That guy in Discord. And all this stuff that he said, and the main things that he said before it happened was the Indiana Jones things. Yeah, he goes, Indiana Jones is, you know, a first-person game, and then it cuts out the third person, and it looks like Harrison Ford, but it's voiced by Troy Baker. This guy has been right about everything. He goes, it looks like Xbox is going for full third-party. They're going to do like third-party Xboxes or OEMs or whatever the case may be. And to me, whenever I look at Xbox right now, it reminds me as a Windows Phone user of what happened to Windows Phone at the end, right? Because they were like, Windows Phone had all this cool stuff. And they're like, whoa, we believe in Windows Phone. They bought all these things, right? They spent billions of dollars to buy things for Windows phones. You know, it had exclusive apps. It had this, it had that. And then they started putting the exclusive stuff everywhere. And then they're promising, we're going to come out with more hardware. The next Windows phones are going to be great. And then they close down.
But
right?
This breaks down to the fundamental problem with Microsoft. They are not a hardware company. Every hardware, from the Zune to the Windows Phone to the Surface, they're not hardware makers. Okay, they make hardware, but that is not their main objective. Their main objective is the software that goes on that hardware. Yeah, can you buy a Microsoft Surface laptop? Yes, you can. But is that the only place you can access Windows? No. So, I mean, it sort of does make sense, this model that they're going, because it's the same model that they're using for the PC space.
But if you don't but they don't make PC hardware. So if they have to decide, like, you can't do both, right? You have to understand that there's a difference between what's going on with PCs and what's going on when you make your own hardware, right? So it's like nobody cares about the Surface, but there was a point where they pushed that heavy and they had Panos Panay designing them. Now nobody gives a shit. They don't give a shit, right? They don't give a shit about Xbox, right? That's a hard fact that a lot of people have trouble dealing with, because whenever you listen to what Phil said, he's like, the only place where we see growth is cloud and PC, right? And he doesn't really say how, like, you know, people look at that and they go, oh, well, we see growth there. It's probably minuscule growth, right? Minuscule growth in the way that we think of it. But the reason why he says that is because there's no growth with Xbox. It's constantly losing 30% year on year. Every single report, 30%, minus 30%, minus 30%, right?
Yeah.
So any growth is better than none, right? Even if it's 1%. So it's not like I think they've got this huge growth through cloud or through PC. I just think they have such a negative loss on year every time with Xbox that they have to have something positive to say, right?
Right.
And so that's what they say. And the funny thing is the people that I've ever seen play, or say that they've used xCloud or whatever, they've all been people that have an Xbox or a PC already. So they're already in that ecosystem. It's not gaining a new person, right? It's just somebody using a service that's included in their price or whatever, so
it's a companion.
Yeah, it's like, it's not, it's like, and I try to tell people this, I'm like, listen, they're like, well, this is a big thing for Xbox. And I like Xbox. I'm an Xbox fan. I think Microsoft is shit, but I like Xbox. I know that's the people have a hard time kind of rectifying that.
You just finished Indiana Jones and you tweeted it out a day or two ago. You said something. You said 10%. What was the ratio that you had there?
It was like 9.70% or something have beat the game.
Yeah,
have gotten that achievement.
And listen, I don't know if that's a good metric to even use, so I won't really harp on it. But I mean, that's a blockbuster game that Microsoft paid a lot of money to have, right? Whether it's a timed exclusive or not, it is an exclusive right now. It's on Game Pass. Everyone tells me, "Oh, I love my Game Pass. It's the best deal in gaming." That's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to refute what you guys feel is the best value in gaming. I think value is in the eye of the beholder, personally. But at the end of the day, a lot of people, they're still popping rare achievements in this game. If you're going to say, hey, I'm waiting for Xbox to come out with the big games, the games are here. People don't flock to them. I feel like it's almost like that gym membership every year in January, right? Everybody brags about it.
Well, here's the thing, like,
by February, they don't go to the gym anymore. I think with Game Pass, they just stop. They don't race to play the game. They don't play the games.
I did some of the side quests on that, and they're easy. Like the side quest there, you get gamer score for that is 20, right? Which is just as much as the main quest. And there's you get, it's called field work, right? And so you do this, and they're fun. It's kind of like how Tomb Raider has the tombs or whatever. And so that, like, I do them, and I was doing some of the side work, and some of those have like 4% completion rates. And I'm like, these only take about 15, 25 minutes, right? And they're not difficult. They're very straightforward. And people aren't doing them. But I got it. Like I say this, like Indiana Jones is the best game that Microsoft has put out in a very long time. So the fact I was quite shocked when I saw that, so few people had kind of completed it or whatever. Cause I was like, I'm like into that game. Like I know they're going to do DLC or whatever. And it's like, I'll probably buy that game, again, like when it comes to PlayStation, because, I wouldn't mind playing through it again. Get trophies on it or whatever. Yeah,
there has to be an intrinsic value in what you're buying. Okay, so say for example, you go to GameStop or wherever, you go to Amazon, you buy a game, and you plunk down $70. Now, shout out to Supernova, who's on my panel. He bought this game, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. He fucking hated it with a passion. But every fucking week, what are you playing, Nova? Oh, I'm playing this freaking Avatar game. Well, why in the hell are you playing? You don't like it. I paid money for it. I'm going to finish the damn thing. Okay,
that's right.
So you see that's what I'm saying. Here you got Game Pass. You got great service. But now you have 400 games, basically, quote, free. I mean, for all intents and purposes, if you want to call it that. So you don't value any one of those 400 games. Whereas
I always used to say that, gamer, right? Like I used to say, like I'm not a big free-to-play fan because I don't feel invested in those, right? And that's the reason why you don't feel invested is because you didn't spend any money on it, right? So I'll feel much more invested in a game that I actually bought or whatever. And I think a lot of people feel that way as well. It's like Netflix, people spend a lot of time scrolling, and then they find something, watch it for half an episode, and decide they don't like it.
Yep.
Or whatever, and I think that's what happens, and it really gets games kind of caught up in that stuff. I think the main problem with Game Pass is they needed great games, and I think Indiana Jones is a great game. I think Starfield's a good game, and I think Redfall was a bad game. I think Hellblade 2 was an average game, right? Like, so they needed a bunch. They needed to release. Probably they needed to do 3 or 4 years of nothing but pretty much great.
Which is hard to do, right? It doesn't matter if you're.
It is.
Even if you're
it is. Like here's the
Martin
thing. They had the opportunity.
doesn't have 5 blockbusters. Crap. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not.
Hey, they listen. They had the opportunity to do that, though. I was saying that a couple years ago. I was like, okay, so this is what the releases are going to look like. I thought Starfield was going to be this thing that blows everybody away. It's the first new IP in 20 years, but it was good. The problem was it wasn't great, right?
So
it wasn't.
But that goes back to what I'm saying. It's not the service, it's what's in the service. It's not the buffet, it's what you're serving in the buffet that makes the difference.
Yeah, well, again, but they also seems like they rushed it because that game is much better now than it was when they launched. Also, you look at Forza Motorsport. That game could have been great, but what happened? For some reason, that franchise took a whole step back, like ridiculously back,
Yeah.
And considering that used to be a biannual franchise, I don't understand how that can happen. So I thought Starfield was going to be 90 rated leading into Forza. Forza had been, right up there in the 90s. Hellblade 2, I thought that could have been 90 something rated because why? Because Hellblade 1 on Xbox was 89 rated. So you figure more time, more money, more developers. They're definitely going to take that next step. That could be that's 3 straight 90 plus rated games going into, Avowed. And I thought Avowed was going to be well received going, and I thought Indiana Jones, would be well received, and and it was, but it wasn't 90. But I still think what it got is great.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like, to me, that was the game of the year last year. I know people want to fight you on that, but it is what it is. To me, I had the most fun with that game. It is, you know what I'm saying?
Let me do this. Just we got a lot of topics. Crap. I want to ask that Singer. I'm going to parlay this into the Xbox Developer Direct that was announced, because it does kind of all come to we're going to move forward here. And Singer, the one thing I wanted to ask you was, you were a big Xbox. You went to PC, and it's not that you went to PC. Xbox kind of moved you to PC, and now you're very happy where you are. But you're a big Xbox fan. And you're now a massive PC fan, which, by the way, I don't blame you one bit. Not one bit. I think it's a great move for you. You've talked me into a couple games to try out. It's outstanding. But Singer, when you have a game coming out, the games that are going to be at the Xbox Developer Direct, for example, and I have the games that they're going to list here, you say South of Midnight. I think Expedition 33 is going to be showing something, that's a multi-plat, I believe. Doom: The Dark Ages, which is going to be on PS5 day one as well. And they have an unannounced game. What was the thing, what was the last straw that broke the camel's back for you, Singer, before you moved from Xbox to PC and didn't look back?
Well, I mean, I've been on PC for like 20 years. I've been on PC since Windows 95, right?
Well, yeah, that's fine. But
you were definitely... the AOL days, but going from Xbox to then was...
Yeah. You ain't that old, brother. Stop.
What do you mean? Hey, Barry...
Knock it off.
I'm nearly 34, my guy.
Knock it off,
I'm nearly 34, my guy. Trust me. Knock it off. Let's not do this. But, it's like I'm playing the original Doom and Duke Nukem on PC, but people won't know about that.
Yeah.
But, thing is, it's like, what made the move is like, okay, I was enjoying Xbox One, and it was like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, well, all the games are coming day and date to PC. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then more of my friends moved over there from Xbox. And then the what actually broke the camel's back was Destiny 2.
Oh, all right.
Because I was hardcore into Destiny 2.
Yep.
The thing is, they didn't have crossplay between PC and console. So I couldn't play with my friends.
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
so I had to move. And then funniest thing is, once I moved, once the new gen came out, they did crossplay, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's nice. But so I'm already at my destination, so I'm like, screw it, whatever. So that was what did it, but the day and date was a fantastic idea for me. I'm like, cool, everything in one place, everything I want to play.
Right.
Because they make the games that I'm going to want to play, so I'm like, okay, cool. So it's, and just the amount of money you save just for gaming on PC is insane. So that's what broke it for me. I mean, the developer director's got a lot of good games. The new game is probably going to be like, what, Gears or... No, actually, it's something that isn't announced.
It's something that's not
announced. No, because Fable's already announced.
No, it's supposed to be supposedly an unannounced game. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, crap. I mean, are you excited? The Developer Direct, here's the thing. They're doing it. It's going to be showcasing 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Typically, when you have a massive direct to show, don't they? I thought they did the directs more in a prime time situation. This seems to be more of a like, hey, we're doing this because we do this in January all the time or February all the time. I don't feel it because we've seen a good amount of compulsion south of midnight. The Expedition 33, again, yes, it's launching day and date in the Game Pass, but it's a multi-plat. Doom is going to be on PS5 and Xbox. Yes, Doom is going to be in Game Pass as well. All these games are going to be in Game Pass. But crap, does this direct do a lot for you? I don't know. It seems like...
No. I mean, it's cool.
It's definitely good to have.
Yeah, we're kind of dinosaurs now. I miss the
E3.
When all the companies would do E3 and get people excited about the different things coming. It's like for me, I look at this and I'm like, hey, that's cool. I mean, Microsoft is trying, I guess, but it's like I think people are onto this. They're like, well, really, it's a multi-platform type of showcase or whatever, and they're saying, oh, well, this other thing could be Oblivion remake or whatever they kind of leaked, or something along those lines. Hey, cool, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I'm the first one to say, like, it's smart if you're an Xbox fan and like me, you don't think Xbox might be around for long. It's kind of smart to just do the Game Pass thing. That way you don't lose anything if they do close down. You know, you're just renting anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? A lot less than somebody like me who, you know, has thousands of games with them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, so like I can understand that. And it's like kind of crazy to me that they're kind of doing. I like the directs. I think they're pretty cool, but you know, I'm not like super overly excited by these. You know what I mean? I guess we got Avowed coming up, and you know, is this a new game supposedly, or is it just one? Could it be something they previously announced and we're going to see for the first time in a while? Is, you know, because stuff comes to mind like, hey, where's Everwild been? Or you know, where's what the hell is that game? Contraband.
Everwild.
Remember Contraband?
What about
Kinda.
Clockwork Orange or whatever that thing was? Not
Clockwork Revolution.
Well, supposedly Jason Ronald said that the games that are being shown are all for this year. So that tells me I think it's a double fine. I think it's going to be a lower scale game because I think people like Clobrel and others know. And if they had known and it was like a huge reveal, I think that they would kind of be teasing.
We're getting Brutal Legends 2. Is that it?
No, I think it's more. I think it could be Oblivion. It could be Oblivion remake, or it could be I would say Double Fine. I don't think it's going to be.
Hey, I do have to say, Psychonaut 2 was good by them though. That was a good game.
Double Fine makes solid games.
If it's an Oblivion remake, that's going to sell gangbusters. By the way, because that game needs a remake badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can
Here's the thing.
understand that. You know, a lot of people.
Am I wrong in feeling this though, Jay? Jay, I'll ask you the question because then I want to hear what you think about the direct. Like we've seen, like you said, you tweeted this out today, Jay. Hats off. I will give credit to Xbox. Xbox doing shows on a consistent basis. We're not getting that from Nintendo or PlayStation right now. You know what I mean? So I do agree with Xbox doing that. That's awesome. But like we are seeing games. We've seen games from Xbox at these, like you just said, Contraband and Perfect Dark and Fable. We've been seeing this now on 3 or 4 different directs, and then the Xbox showcases and this and that. And the games aren't out. You know, the games aren't here. And they've been working on these games since 2020.
I know you're talking to somebody else, but how can Microsoft announce something else for this year?
That's what I'm
saying. With the amount that they have out, because they're not stupid. They're going to want to, you know, make sure that they have a game come out, you know, at a certain point in time. They're not going to put 2 out in the same month, right? And they're not going to compete with Call of Duty,
right?
Right. So I mean, that's why supposedly they put Avowed into this year, right?
Well, supposedly the game slipped. So one of the games in the slip could be purposely, but I heard one of the games.
Supposedly Perfect Dark. I've heard Perfect Dark.
I thought that slipped.
I heard that slipped. I also heard it could have been State of Decay 3.
Yeah.
That slipped. Those are the 2 that
I heard it's not going to be them. I saw somebody. I think it was somebody said it's not State of Decay 3.
Yeah.
It's probably Oblivion. I think it's Oblivion.
It could be that. I mean, listen, for this year, like I'm hoping Fable is the shit. You know what I mean? Like that was my jam. I love the Fable games. I'm hoping that they nailed it. I like what I've seen so far. I just hope that they allow you to like pick what character you want to be, like all the other Fables. You know what I mean? And it's not just because that girl's ugly, right? No. It's just because the game's always like you can pick either, you know, you're a guy or a girl, and then what you do can kind of change your looks, right?
It's not a Fable. That's not
see, for me, I don't think it's Fable either. I think Fable is going to definitely be a 2026 title. But if the Xbox Prime, let's pretend it's true and it's gunning for next year, there's no reason why you would release Fable, in my opinion, on this. That you would make that a launch title on Prime. But I do feel
you would do Gears on Prime, dude. I think that's what they're going to do. But I don't think Prime is a real thing, and I'll tell you why. Yeah. Because many years ago, me and Mooch and Rand Outdoor were doing podcasts, and this was when the Xbox One X. Before that, and I had heard that name, and I actually revealed that name before anybody else, but we were talking about it beforehand, and Rand said, what about Xbox Prime? And we were kind of going, Xbox, roll out, like, you know, Optimus Prime. I think that's like that name's been rumored for a long time, so I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be
crap. It might be a code. That might be a code name. I don't think that'll be the release name.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think, like, I don't know. They really screwed themselves with that naming thing. You know what I mean? Like, they should have just went with Xbox 720. That's what everybody wanted, and then they could have just did something else. You know what I mean? And now it's like you got people that seriously, buy a 1S, and then there's a Series S, and then you know what I mean. Like they really kind of
if it's
didn't pay attention.
If it's called Xbox Prime, they need to open the matrix of leadership, because I can't think of a darker hour than this for them. So there you go.
Xbox Infinity, that was another rumor.
So Jay, what do you think about
the reference? I'm sorry.
What do you think about the developer direct, Jay? I mean, like you say, it is nice to have a consistent show. So I am excited to see new games, especially if we've gone through this. We went through the fall and into the holiday, and here we are, January, February. Now, January and February does have a list of games. I know that Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed to March now, but I mean, there's still a list of games. But people are like clamoring for some new gaming news. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I think this show is going to be great. Got to give Xbox kudos on far as like having a consistent show every year to get fans excited. Some of them have been hit or miss for me, but for this one of my biggest anticipated games is Clear Obscure Expedition 33, and they're going to be talking about that game, so I'm definitely locked in.
Just the hell is that game? I never even heard of it before.
Yeah, what is that?
It's like an action RPG, isn't it?
It's an RPG. No, it's a turn-based.
Is it a Souls game?
Oh, it's a turn-based Expedition.
Oh, okay.
It's a turn-based, like AAA, high production value RPG game. It looks really good. Definitely watch the trailer. The story looks like it's going to be like a dark, very serious, mature story, and it looks really good. But yeah, listen, I said that earlier because at the end of the day, when it pertains to PlayStation, I would like PlayStation to have a little bit more consistency when it comes to just announcements or just like events like this. I'll always give kudos to them showing off what they got upcoming for the year, whether it's something that interests me or not. I still give them kudos as far as them just having a show to present to the people. But this one especially is a good one for me because, like I said, I'm there. That's one of my most anticipated games, so I'm there for that game. Hopefully it's a good show. And Doom looks pretty cool. I never really got into Doom like that, but I'm looking for an excuse to get into Doom. I have both of the games, the recent releases, but I just never really like got into them. You know what I mean? So we'll see how this one looks.
Dude, those games play like butter.
Yeah, I know. Like I played the first one to it, like the second one as well. But maybe one of these days
I'll get great, dude. If you I'm not into them like super big. Like, oh man, I love Doom. I mean, this new one looks good too. What was the
first Doom? Not the what was the second one called? Doom Eternal. The one before
2016.
You were really into that one, Mooch. You used to play that one.
I played the hell out of the Doom 2016. Doom Eternal.
I got lost in that and gave up. I was like, damn it.
I have a lot of hours in Doom Eternal. The only problem with it is that I just the platforming in it. I don't know.
That's not Doom.
It got a little old. I don't know. I hope the new one doesn't have that as much.
It doesn't look like it.
I don't think so
either. But they have new things because Doom has always been just probably one of the best shooting experiences ever in a shooting game, combined with a heavy metal soundtrack that just revs you up and you just go ham and just start bodying all these demons and you just go to town and you just have a whale of a time. Do you care what the story is? No.
Not really.
Are you listening to some heavy metal and killing demons?
Yes.
I mean, that's a Saturday night right there. So
absolutely.
I mean, that's why the platforming did annoy me. But in this one, they have like new mechanics with the shield. So I'm interested. I'm like, what's the shield doing? Because you could throw the shield, you could block with it, you could dash with it.
I'm definitely in for Doom. I mean, Doom is, I would say, I know Expedition 33 has a lot of people. I saw a lot of people in the chat jumping at that. They're like, I can't wait. And Jay, you're excited for it. But Doom is the one that I'm definitely looking forward to. And of course, the new IP. P-Rock, what do you think, P-Rock? At the end of the day, this thing is going to be airing 10 a.m. your time. So I'm fairly certain, because I know your schedule, you may not be home for that live, like 90% of us in the States. What do you think, P-Rock?
I'm gonna be honest. At this point, I just look at developer direct from Xbox, no different than like a third party EA. Like if EA had a direct or something, just game by game basis. Most of the time, I don't put the energy to watch it live. I'd rather wait for the after recording to include like the state of play, so it's not just an Xbox thing. Like most of the time, like sitting there for like 30 minutes, an hour, when I could just wait and I could like fast forward to what I really like. So, hopefully they show some good stuff. Hopefully it's along the lines of what Tim Dog is saying, that what they show will be released this year. Because like Grab Kramer alluded to, they tend to show something, then you don't see it for years and stuff. So hopefully they're staying on that cadence. We're going to show you something, and it's going to come out within the next 12, to 18 months or so. And hopefully they have a good show and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you there, P-Rock. I don't know, Tim, are you excited for? I mean, like I said, so I'm kind of glad P-Rock said it first. Everyone's like, oh, there we go, here goes Mooch saying it again. I mean, when it comes down to it, with Doom and Expedition 33 launching, as well. I mean, yes, not in a service, but launching on PlayStation 5 day one. It does start to feel like these Xbox shows different from when we used to watch them together, Tim, when it was E3 and. That was exciting because you were like, we were waiting for the exclusive, that's gone now. So, and a lot of people say they don't care. And I think when anyone tells me,
it's officially gone because it really does matter, but people want to pretend it does.
I was just going to say it's fake when they're like, it doesn't matter. It's certainly
if it didn't matter, they wouldn't have gotten, stuff like Stalker 2 or whatever.
Or Indiana Jones.
In any kind of media, the exclusive is a big thing. Every type of business, there's things exclusive from food to video games to whatever to hotels. Everybody has a sell. Look at even Windows Phone as an example. Once they started putting everything on there and they didn't have any exclusives, it went to shit and they closed it down.
And it was a good phone. I know people hated on it, but
it was a great phone.
I thought it was awesome.
I remember going to the events for it, and I thought it was like, wow.
You'd be like, hey, Cortana, do this. I thought and they were ahead of the game with some of that stuff.
Yes.
And now, what's funny is they lament it. Now they're like, well, we shouldn't have given that up because now Apple and Google have
secured
duopoly. It's like we, even though we had just a small piece of the pie, at least we had a piece of it,
right?
And we could break in there. Like they're having trouble breaking into that even to this day. Getting the store or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, like think about it that way. It's like you have to. I don't care. Like Phil has to be at least saying something to Satya, like, hey, you know what? If we don't have exclusives, it's like
everything's.
I don't know. Like we might as well not even have hardware.
You're gonna see. Jez. When Jez came out with that stuff, that was basically him after talking to Phil. I know how it works. I know how those things work. When he came out to that, he probably had a conversation a day before with Phil, and Phil basically said, "Yeah, we're just gonna be porting everything," and they haven't come out to that because I quite frankly think that Xbox is cowardly that way. They kind of want to, say that they don't want to be linked to it because because it could affect the current day.
Well, look at how their consoles sold after that February announcement,
horrible.
Right? It's gone down every single time, and people go, oh well, that's just the Twitter, that's the very small percentage. This isn't 2010 anymore, guys. It's like
they're getting sold 5 to 5.4 to 1. This last
it's like and you look at it, it's like that shit's on TikTok. People are like, millions of people see that Xbox is going to be the next Dreamcast. People see that even though they're not like huge gamers. It's like that's everywhere. It's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere. People believe that it's just this small group on Twitter that sees this stuff and cares. It's not. It's like this huge group of people and everywhere. It's casual. I have people ask me who are just like really super casual games. Well, I didn't even know Xbox was. I thought they were going out of business. I thought they, you know what I mean? Like people really say that kind of stuff.
I just wanted to say something. The thing is that I think Rock hit on it. Dev Direct is now not an Xbox thing. It's an everybody thing because all these games moving on forward for the most part are all going to be exclusive non-exclusive multi-plots day one.
Yeah.
And that's the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just 4 games, and then it's like, oh, well, Doom is day one. And then people found excuses for that. Like, give me a break.
Outer Worlds 2 was announced exclusive. It was actually announced.
100%. Another lie.
They said exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Wait,
they went on stage.
I got a question.
A lot of them games was announced as exclusive.
Let me just say this.
I got a question.
Hold on. Wizard, real quick. Let me just say this before, because I already know we're gonna get clipped, right? And thinking, oh, these guys are just fanboys because they're pissed off. Other people get to play. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is the energy changed. When we had E3, there was a reason why the stars of the show was Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony, and not EA, Ubisoft,
right?
And all the other third party show.
That's a really good point.
Great point.
There was a reason. When we thought of E3, we thought of the big three. It was because of the exclusives. When EA
100%.
says, hey, we're having our keynote speech, sure, we watched it, but it's not the same energy, and we didn't hold them to the same standard as we did as a Microsoft conference, as a PlayStation conference, or as a Nintendo conference. We hold those three to a different standard compared to Ubisoft, compared to EA. You know, if Capcom had a conference, all right, cool, let's see what they got.
Right.
But we never held them to the standard because at the end of the day, we knew their main job was to just make games pretty much good for everyone to play. But when we looked at Nintendo, when we looked at PlayStation, we looked at Microsoft, we looked at them as, what are you making so that way you can say you're better than the other conference? That's, you know what I'm saying? But now, when you put your games everywhere, all right, cool. Everybody enjoys it, but don't expect the same energy.
That's right.
You know? That's why I said the developer, the Xbox Direct, it's like an EA Direct. What's the difference?
Right.
Sure.
Like all that stuff, man. All that
is
stuff that is, and people go, oh, well, it won't be Gears and Forza. I mean, there's a lot of smoke around Forza right now, and if you look at like Forza Horizon, that's one of the only games that Microsoft could put on PlayStation, and I believe it would sell extremely well because that game is amazing, right? That franchise is like that game, that franchise propped Xbox One for many years. Because if you look at what was going on with Xbox One, Xbox One had Forza Horizon 2, Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 4, and even Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, like, and those were pretty much the only 90 rated games from Microsoft to touch Xbox One. So it's like they really, and then I think Forza Horizon 3 in particular really pushed Xbox One. That was when it kind of went in the stratosphere when they did like the Hot Wheels stuff.
Yep.
Right. The first time that was like people were like, wow.
Yeah,
and then it was like then around that time they started doing the bundle. They're like, holy crap, this game really took off. And they started doing the bundle and stuff. So I could see that game going. People that don't think Halo or Gears would go day and date don't understand the whole purpose of that would be to get more people in the multiplayer. But if the games aren't good, it won't matter. You know what I mean? Like you can't have, like they really fucked up Gears and they really fucked up Halo. So you have to be able to have great games, first of all, that hold people's attentions. Because whenever you hear Phil talk, and he's always like, the biggest games you can play everywhere, but the biggest games are like kind of generic. You know what I mean? Like Fortnite and all that kind of stuff. I can understand the appeal, but it's like, I'm not really into those games, but those games are huge, right? But South of Midnight avowed those type of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like they don't really need to be everywhere. And then when you have some games like Redfall, it don't matter how many devices that shit would have been on because it's sucked.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's like you got to understand that. And it's like the same thing with Hellblade 2. We knew that Hellblade 2 was going to be, it was going to look great, but it was going to be an average game. And it wasn't gonna. That could have been on PlayStation. And it still wasn't gonna sell great.
You say that crap.
Nah. I disagree with that crap. I don't think we knew that Hellblade 2 was going to be an average game. Like they that was super disappointing with Hellblade 2 because the anticipation for Hellblade 2 was that it's going to be a much grander, bigger game with better combat. The combat in Hellblade 1 was pretty cool, but Hellblade 2 combat is less than Hellblade 1.
You only fight one person at a time.
Yeah, they took away a lot.
And then when it came out, it says, is it just an 8-hour game? And you're like, wow, you spent 5 years to make an 8-hour game.
I don't even mind that it was 8 hours, but it's more what Jay said. It was more like the fighting part of it regressed, right? That took a step back, and they literally had the same formula. And
like it didn't feel like a grander experience. Like any sequel that you play, like a franchise, you expect the sequel to be like much grander, much bigger, or you're going to do something new, something different. There wasn't really nothing innovative.
Jay, we kept on hearing that they were with limited reresources in the first one, and they barely had enough money to scrape together to do it.
Do something different, man. That Ninja.
I do. I think they'll. I don't think you're going to see a Hellblade 3 if that's what you mean.
I don't know. Somebody said they got the green light on that shit. Yeah, I don't know. Was it Jez? I don't know.
Don't they have Project Mara in the works and some other stuff on their table?
I think we'll probably see one, but it won't be. Obviously, it won't be exclusive.
Well, they're probably busy porting Hellblade 2 to PlayStation right now. So,
but let me ask you guys a question. Like, I thought the biggest misstep for Xbox was their whole Play Anywhere initiative. I think that Play Anywhere initiative is huge. Like, I went on this vacation right for Christmas. I bought a couple of games on the Microsoft Store, Dragon Quest HD 2D, all this stuff, and I like that fact that I can play this game on my console, on my ROG Ally, if I wanted to play it on my PC, and I can. And my saves carry over. I think that is a really good feather in your cap to have. That you can, once you buy a game from the Microsoft Store, you can play it as long as you can access, Xbox or some of the ecosystem, if you will. So I think that the fact that they didn't play up on this fact was actually a big misstep for Xbox, and it made a big.
The problem is third parties didn't want to give out multiple copies.
Yeah.
Why do that? Like, if you're a third party, you're not in the business of giving stuff away for free.
Right.
The other thing is Microsoft came out and announced it. Not a lot of people were taking advantage of that, right? So I think, like, again, it's a very small subsect of people who use that. Like, I'm one of these people. I game on my big ass screen and TV. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't game when I'm on the toilet. I'm not gaming in the car. I'm not gaming on the, wherever. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, if I were, the Xbox Series S is so small. I could just take that bitch with me anywhere I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not just
or
that,
if you
but
get a
Wise.
laptop or whatever, not just, shit, man.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a one-to-one by no means, but I mean, realistically, as cool as that was, and when the pitch came out, they really had something there. But nowadays, you could leave your PlayStation 5 on rest mode. You could take your Portal. You could use your iPad. I mean, you could do that with anything now. I mean, so when you're like, I bought it on the Microsoft Store, you made it sound like that's the only place you could have bought it. It's not. I mean,
no, it's not the only place.
It's not. So
I mean, the fact that I just bought it once, I could play it on all my console and my ROG and the computer, and and anywhere I wanted to go, because I was like, I had to travel. I can't take my Series X with me. That thing was heavy. So but.
No, yeah, I understand that part of it. I do want to ask this question. So I want to go over to P-Rock. P-Rock usually do pieces like this on your channel. I just found it interesting because another individual left IGN to start their new venture, their new business in the game, and this happened years and years ago. I think Greg Miller did it. One of the first ones I remember that was one of the big names that kind of left IGN on good terms and just went and did his own thing, and now Destin's doing it. Like I'm finding more and more people are going to YouTube channels to discuss gaming, listen to podcasts, watch shows. Is this kind of legacy type of like gaming media of like Eurogamer and IGN, P-Rock, is that going to come to an end slowly? Because like, think about it. If you go back 10 years ago, the personalities that were on all of these shows were pretty cool. They were great. We used to tune in, and whether you agreed with them or you argued with them, it was like there was just a whole chemistry there. There was chemistry.
Morgan Webb. Ooh.
Right? Morgan Webb. You want to go back that far? That's fine. Right? Morgan Webb. But I'm saying, like, at the same time, I want to say, like, even it doesn't matter. Even Ryan McCaffrey.
Hey, remember the reboot of that shit, though? You don't want to watch, don't watch.
Right.
Please.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't work. I always recommend you.
That wasn't Morgan Webb. Okay.
I know. Oh, God, no. I get that.
But I mean,
I know.
P-Rock, what do you
I tried to do with her what I tried to do with Morgan Webb, and it didn't work. Trust me. I tried.
I can imagine, yeah.
But I want to
effect.
What do you think, P-Rock? Do you think at the end of the day that will we continue? Do you think 5 years from now? I mean, we're seeing different things happen, right? Brick and mortar is changing as far as gaming happen. E3s and the way that we get presented new games and content has changed. Is gaming media going to start to change? Because you're seeing a lot of the people that have been gaming for years and it's their passion taking their talents, as they should, to their own channels. What do you think? Did I lose P-Rock? He is on the West Coast.
Hopefully, okay.
Hopefully he's all right.
I feel like when it comes to a lot of these personalities, they're going their own separate ways because it's their channel. They're more free to do and say what they want to say. They don't have to be all PC and professional.
That's right.
These advertisements and stuff like that. I see a lot of popularity happening with a lot of these channels where they're just more unhinged. The more unhinged you are, the more you're going to grow as far as like you want to get the views, and that's what these companies look at. They look at the views. They don't care about what the content is saying. It's like, oh, this person just got the influence. This person got the views.
Hey, Destin ain't gonna ask Phil any big questions though. It's gonna be all fluff. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna 100% fluff. You know.
Well, no, I just want to say, you know, the day and age of streaming right now, and clipping, and what's going on with the internet, it just doesn't pay for somebody like IGN, because a guy like Destin or somebody with some influence and has a certain amount of numbers can have accounts spanning through TikTok past to whatever it is, to X, to YouTube, and they can also have clipping accounts, which is where they take certain clips. That's the big thing now. People don't like watching the whole videos. They like the parts where they have Mooch screaming at Tin Dog, or just like the interesting parts, because that's what sells, and those get thousands and millions of views. So if you're a guy like Destin, you can have 3 YouTube accounts with clipping, and you can have a Patreon, and you can have even with, you go follow Colin's footsteps and look at how much money he's made. Or
I mean, look at Colin, exactly. Like these guys, like Colin really tapped into something, and like when that stuff went down with Greg Miller or whatever, it's like that was a bunch of nonsense in the first place. But like people, he really kind of got foothold of what it, and what I like about Colin is he doesn't take any review copies of anything or any free stuff from anybody. And I think that's a big thing why a lot of people hate a lot of the mainstream type / media, is because they're getting free stuff. They're getting they kind of are doing that. I always say, but watch out too, because there are people on YouTube who are what's considered an influencer, and they get stuff like to influence positively. And if they stop 100%. And if they stop positively influencing, they would get nothing. That's just the fact of the matter. Like, just look at it. I'm not bad mouthing. Influencers are part of the game, right? That's like part of the deal.
It's just because it's more money to be an influencer right now to then go with Giant Bomb, unless you're getting some type of really nice contract.
Yeah,
you would be surprised. What Destin and what Ryan probably makes at IGN, and then they're also then. Oh, they can't do this, they can't do that. You can't use, you have to use our credo or whatever. They're basically tied to somewhere where they have an authority, where they could just go. Even if Ryan went on his own, I think he's probably thinking about it too.
That's right.
You can make more. You can make more money on.
Well, I'll be honest, man. I haven't watched any of these like mainstream places. I used to watch.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah. Like I used to watch some of the IGN. Like, remember the Daily Fix?
Daily Fix.
Yeah. What the hell is that girl's name? Naomi something.
Naomi Campbell.
Yeah. That's what I used to watch the Daily Fix with her. And they would do like a couple shows.
Well, remember
whatever.
the Daily Fix? Didn't that? I shouldn't say it started. When I started, it was with Jessica Chobot, right?
Chobot, the Bee Liquor.
Yeah.
You want to hear something crazy, and this pertains to people on this panel, basically. Shows like BGST, Weapon Wheel, Mooch and Crap in the Morning. They did better numbers, but they did better numbers than these IGNs.
Yeah.
Like they were blowing, like BGST was blowing out, or just staying, and had zero anything behind it. It just had Zaire and all 4 of us coming in at a certain time. But
I asked Brock what happened to BGST podcast, and it's like, well, BGST was a popular podcast with interesting takes on gaming, and each of the hosts found success splitting off on their own, and it seems unlikely that they'll get back together. It was something like that. I was like, damn, Brock. Come on, man.
Rock. I think you said Rock.
No, Grok, man, Grok. On Twitter, dude, like use it. I got some really cool pictures of Phil Spencer that way. One where he's with Oscar the Grouch by a garbage can drinking a beer. Like I'm
somebody showed me I was the #1 cringiest Xbox.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty fun. But
Crap, give me a second here. OG Gamesta Max says to me, he goes, Mooch, read the damn Super chat. He just sent it 3 minutes ago. 3 minutes ago, I said, buddy, everyone's in a conversation. Calm down. I'll get to it in a second. And plus, it's not name one upcoming Sony game. Xbox winning Copium. Ghost of Woke. Man up. There you go, OG. OG Games to Mac, everybody. Love them in the chat. There it is. Buddy, you sent it 3 minutes ago. Calm down. You didn't send it at 7 o'clock. It's 8:34. You sent it at 8:30. Calm down. Read your super chat, Mooch. I sent it 3 minutes ago. The panel's talking. These guys drive me nuts, buddy. And not only that, it's not even it's not even a question. Name one upcoming Sony game, you Copium Xbox. What? Okay.
Well, is it the show of upcoming games?
What a clown.
Planetary, intergalactic.
Jeez. Name one Sony game. Ghost of Yote. There you go. He doesn't like it, though. Not good enough for Games to Mac. My fault. Jeez.
Intergalactic is the new Naughty Dog game. What about that one? That's a good one. That looks good.
Indiana fucking Jones.
Indiana Jones in April. There you go. Games to Mac. Well, 3 minutes, crap. 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes. Hey, people are, they want their stuff now.
Jeez. But Mooch, we from New York, so New York minute is a lot.
That's true. That is like a half a week. You're right, Puerto Rock. I can't lie there. That is the truth. Shout out to Scythe38. I'm gonna do. He says Game Pro Magazine for the win. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, I missed all those magazines, man. I used to get them, and even Game Informer, and they were just fun to kind of kick back and like read. You know what I mean? Like, and you know what was different? I think back then they would like announce games in those things, or you know what I mean, and have a deep dive on upcoming games that we didn't know about. I can remember specifically there was a Game Informer magazine, and this was when Xbox 360 was announced, and it was that Condemned game from Sega, and that was the first like look at it, and I was like, wow, that's really crazy. And they got away from that. It's like you look at what the mainstream media kind of got away from, and it was actually breaking the stories, and they really got into stuff like which game has better resolution, and you know what I mean, stuff that I don't think people
that was the bullshit.
I missed the salesmanship. Remember with Peter Moore lifting up his sleeve and having the GTA tattoo everywhere, or in the PlayStation 4 where they were handing it, this is how you share it. I love all that tea. I love that shit.
Yes.
I mean, that's what it was all
about.
So much. I love that. That just, I was a pig in fucking slop when I used to do that type of stuff.
That's what it mattered.
I mean, I will say though,
it's become sterile. It's become sterile. There's not been a game in the past couple of years that I'm like, oh my God, I got to play it. Even with the Ghost of Yotai, I'll say this much. When Ghost of Tsushima came out, I looked at it, I'm like, holy fucking shit. When Yotai came out, it was more sterile. I'm like, okay, great. It's more Tsushima, So I'm looking for that feeling that I'm missing back in the day where like, oh my God, I can't wait. They show this game. It's all over. Like, remember when they first showed the new God of War 2018? We all looked at that. We all fucking erupted, like, oh my God. I mean, it really got you excited. Like, you really wanted to play that game right then and there, But I'm missing that. I miss that as a gamer. So
same. I think I do think gaming needs a little bit of a jolt. Hopefully, games coming up like GTA 6 can do that, because, like you said, it does seem sterile and. I don't know. I was always about the competition. That's why one of the reasons why, I kind of just like disengage. When
it's a lot of these games lack soul. Is like I know like maybe that's different than what you're talking about with sterile, but like for me, like I really was into like the Gears of War series, and then 4 and 5 kind of were technically good games, but they lacked soul. I guess would be the way to put it. It's like, and some of these games are just
checkbox these days. Like, okay, do you have an open world? Check. Do you have an RPG system? Check. Do you have a fighting mechanic? Check. It's like a whole bunch of checks, and I'm like, I don't want a whole bunch of checks. I want something.
Yeah. And they're doing a lot of that where the games just aren't fun, and that's why I was like, and I'll be honest, man, I was kind of like, I'd played some games last year, and it was probably the least amount of gaming that I've played in a long time was last year, and it was like. the reason was because I wasn't having fun. Like the games weren't fun to me. It was like Indiana Jones. Finally, I'm like excited about gaming again. You know, I mean, there was some decent stuff, but I spent most of the time on college football and Madden. And you know what I mean?
Did you play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
I have it. I haven't.
You should
played
try.
Oh my god! Oh my!
I also got 16. I got that for Christmas. So
crap! I need you to send me your coordinates. I'm kicking you in shame. I don't know what the hell is going on.
I don't know what you
Hey, listen, Astrobot is
in
good.
2024.
Yeah.
Come on, crap. Come on.
I mean, even like for example, Ragnarok for me, famously, like I could when I played 2018, I couldn't put it down. I had to finish that game, and I played that game all day, every day, and I finished it in 2 days. Whereas with Ragnarok, I was easily able to put it down, walk away, come back to it.
Ragnarok wasn't as good as 2018.
Yeah, and see, that's what
I remember. When I finished it, I was like, "Man, this is pretty good." And then the more I thought about it, I was like, "It's a good 8 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10." Like
Ragnarok combat was perfection. That game, if you master that stuff, oh my god.
Yeah, they did perfect the combat part of it. Yes. I think a lot of times, crap, when people say what you say, though, I think it's because the way that 2018 came out and reinvented the series, everybody expected another reinvention again. And I mean, you're not going to get a reinvention, I think, back to back.
But I'm waiting for a game to grab you by the balls and never let go. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we've been waiting for that since how long now, Wise? I mean, what game has really come out? And even though everyone's very excited about GTA 6, which I'm very excited for that, I mean, GTA 6 is going to look amazing. The game's going to be so much more broad, so much more open, so many more things to do. But at the same time, it's GTA, right? I mean, so is GTA 6 really? Are you going to call somebody after you play it outside of saying how amazing it looks to how different it is? I don't know if you're going to say that. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to be much different.
Is P-Rock talking?
No,
I don't think so. P-Rock.
I'm muted.
No, yeah. I was seeing your thing going green. I don't know what's going on the Discord, but your thing was going green. I was like, oh, is you trying to say something? My bad.
No, Jay, while I got you, I do want to ask a quick question. The reason I go to you, Jay, is I know that shout out to you and shout out to Persona doing Call of Duty, COD Sundays. And I just want to say, because I'm playing a lot of Call of Duty, as you guys can see on screen, and like when it comes down to it, Xbox Activision lost 47 of its players since October's launch of Black Ops 6. A lot of it's because of cheaters and AI usage. And I'll be honest with you, yeah, every once in a while you can see when you die in like a Warzone game, if you watch your kill cam, you'll definitely see something that's definitely not right going on the other side, right? But I mean, in all seriousness, what's going on? Why is Call of Duty, and I'm not blaming this on Xbox, like has Call of Duty, are people starting to say what's the problem here? It's not an Xbox thing. Is it just the game itself?
Call of Duty this year, in my opinion, is one of the most fun Call of Duty games.
I'm loving it personally.
System mechanics and like game mechanics.
Yep.
But the glaring issues that surround it will always hinder Call of Duty, in my opinion. Obviously, you have the cheaters that they can't escape, regardless of what system that they put in there. There's those cheaters left and right. The other thing is that the skill-based matchmaking, it needs to go away in core play, in core public play. It needs to go away, because at the end of the day, playing with your friends is not the same like it was back in the day. Because if you play with your friend that is like on a super high level skill, you're going to get those people, and your friend is like, oh, I can't play the game, so they kind of taper off from playing the game because they had a bad experience in the lobby. Or if you improve in the game, you start in public play, you start getting those lobbies where, oh, they're saying you're improving. Oh, so here you're going to be playing that now. The fact of the matter is that I feel like is definitely hindering Call of Duty, because you have rank play that have those implementations as far as skills-based matchmaking. If somebody want to take it more seriously, what they want to play, you can do that. Not saying that you won't get people that's skillful in the game, but if you're in a percentile of like a 1.4 to a 2.0 KD in Call of Duty, you're not playing with the majority of the people that bought the game. You're playing with a top 10%, top 20% of people that's playing the game. Call of Duty, they brag about numbers, they brag about this many people playing, this many people playing on Steam. But if my KD in Call of Duty is a 1.7, 1.8 around that area, and I see the same names over and over and over in public core Call of Duty play.
Yep.
That's a shame. With all the people that's the pool of people that's playing the game, how am I seeing the same people over and over and over and over again that I'm playing against because of skill-based matchmaking is too strict? That should be left alone in just rank play. Like a game like Marvel Rivals, a game that I'm playing currently right now, heavily. I haven't played COD since like middle of December, to be honest with you. I've been playing Marvel Rivals heavily, and I've been playing competitive, where if I want that, the more intense matches, if I want to get my emblems, go up and climb the ranks to Diamond, to Grandmaster, I will do that stuff. But if I just want to play casually, learn characters, I get to play with a pool of the 20 million people that's playing the goddamn game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, you're going to have people that's skilled in it, but it's just a mixed smorgasbord of people. Call of Duty, you're not getting that. And that's the problem with this game, where a lot of people would taper off because now that people's getting better in Call of Duty, you have this movement option, or you just simply getting better, you're getting put into these lobbies where it's just like, damn.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing better. Yep. And then you just go. You went 30-8 last game.
Yep.
Then the next 4 games they're going 5-22, 5-30. You know what I mean? And people don't want to stick around with that, especially if they're paying for it. But cheating is one of the biggest issues too, as well. Don't get it twisted.
And it's funny because I'll bring Death Singer into this, and anybody wants to chime in. I did try, and listen, it's a real small sample size, so I'm not gonna say that my opinion on this really matters, because when it comes down to Marvel Rivals, I tried Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals for me, listen, tip your cap to the developers. Great game. The game is polished, plays well, all of that. So if you enjoy that and you enjoy Marvel, this is for you.
Marvel Rivals, my bad.
Thing, dude,
they understood the assignment. But go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. The only problem I have with this, for me in my short time playing, and tell me if I'm wrong, if there's something I missed, but it's Overwatch with Marvel skins.
I'm not saying it's a hero shooter. Every hero shooter is going to be compared to Overwatch. Funny. They were saying that with Concord as well. You know what I mean? But Marvel Rivals,
Concord kind of reminded me more. Yeah, but Concord reminded me more of the modes and playlists that like Call of Duty had. Whereas
the gameplay wise, but it was still being compared to it because it's a hero shooter. Like Marvel Rivals is very Overwatch. Don't get it twisted. But the team up mechanics, the team up abilities,
the team up abilities, the
characters
modes,
itself, the third person perspective.
Overwatch, right?
What's up?
That's more like Overwatch.
I don't know. I haven't played Overwatch in a long time. I don't remember.
Maybe Death Singer can help me, because Death Singer might have played some. Death Singer, did you play Overwatch?
Yeah, before it fell off a cliff, yeah.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, am I wrong? I mean, Marvel's really feels like Overwatch with Marvel skins.
Marvel feels like Prime Overwatch 1. Okay. Make that distinction clear, because Overwatch 2 is complete garbage. So Prime Overwatch 1, back in the day, like 2017, 2018 time period, fantastic. Yeah. But it's that, but it's got the team up abilities, and they understood the assignment on the skins and the characters as well. Yeah. Like they looked the part. The Invisible Woman skin coming up. I mean, they understood the assignment, and it's going to sell billions. And as we saw, the game is doing what it's doing. It is similar to Overwatch. Yes, the game modes. Yes, the gameplay you're pushing.
Yeah, you're pushing a lot. Yeah, it's just I feel, I don't know, for some reason I played it. And don't get me wrong, the game is it's great. I think I was the Punisher character once or twice, and got 15 kills, 16 kills. But you're like, I don't know. It seems like the tanks are all in the middle, and then you have all of the long distance shooters are on the perimeter shooting the tanks, and then the minute the tanks are going in the middle, everyone that's on the perimeter points to each other and starts to shoot. And then as the tanks come back from respawning, everyone goes back to shooting in the middle again. I played a very short amount, so I'm going to keep playing it. The game is polished, plays well. Love the Marvel characters. Like you said, they got the assignment, that Singer. They really did get the assignment. They nailed that. But
also, the point of the gameplay is it's kind of, it's you understand the role, right? You're playing the role. Yes. So, like, you're a tank. Your ass is going to be on the objective, right? And you're going to be fighting out with the other tanks, and you're going to be doing your job. Mm-hmm. And it's up to the DPS to do all the killing, for the most part. I mean, sure, yeah, you could go ham with the tanks, which I do, but it's like, for the most part, you're like, okay, cool, let's keep pushing the objective. you have the healers behind you, and then you have the long range DPS. But it's like that's not my issue up there. That Hawkeye over there, that's nothing to do with me.
Right.
Someone else has to go deal with that. So it does boil down to you have the tanks in the front line just smacking together, and then the range. Then, unlike Overwatch, you have flying characters, which adds another spice to it. Because the only character that can fly is Pharah, and Echo can now. They released a new character. I think there's like 2 who can fly. But it took them ages to get there. With Rivals, they have like 2, 3 maybe. I don't know. But they took the lessons of Overwatch and improved on it with the team-up abilities.
Yeah.
And if you didn't like Overwatch gameplay, you're not gonna like Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, that's
basically it. If you don't like Overwatch, you're probably not gonna like Rivals, to be honest.
Yeah, for some reason, it's not necessarily the modes aren't clicking with me. I think the game itself is extremly well made. I really do, and I think, like you said, they definitely knew what they were doing with the. They definitely knew what they were doing with the character design. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go back in and give it a shot again. I just I like the traditional. Like, I still enjoy like what Call of Duty offers. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. I'm enjoying. Everything Jay said is correct. I mean, as far as the skill-based matchmaking, things of that nature. But but I'm a traditionalist too as well. I've been playing Call of Duty for so many years now, right? But I don't know. That's me personally. So
that's what keeps Call of Duty selling is the traditional. Because it's like, if I wanted a truly new, different experience, I'd play something like Valorant,
mm-hmm.
right? Because, you could go, well, it's like CSGO, but there's only really 2 games in that tactical category of that way, and it's a hero shooter, so, you have abilities and whatnot, so it's, if you're after a more unique experience, play a game like Valorant, because,
mm-hmm. Well,
that's your only other option.
I do think we should talk about this for a minute. There's been a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 leaks, right? And I mean, this is crazy. Just before we get into the actual console itself and what's going on, Nintendo has always been in charge of their own domain, right? So when it comes down to it, I can't remember if this was, I think Wise wanted to talk about it. Wise, when it comes down to the Nintendo Switch 2, listen, I'm there day one. I grew up playing Nintendo. I don't care. I don't care if I put 100 hours a year or less into Nintendo. I'm going to buy a Nintendo Switch. There's just no way around it. But why is Nintendo allowing all of this third-party talk? We've got glimpses and images and third-party devices.
They can't really do much about it.
Well, no, I don't.
Well, can they though? Crap, I don't know. I mean, it's
gotta
crazy.
Work with these people, and not only that, they're just building up the hype. Really?
No. They've been leaking since like a sieve since November. We pretty much know everything about that console right now. Okay, apart from the games, which is key. This is what my point is. Apart from the game. The games are going to launch with the system. We know everything about how it attaches, how it detaches, the accessories available for that sucker, everything, right? Why hasn't Nintendo sent out their ninjas even back then? Like a cease and desist, they always do that.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
And so my question is, maybe Nintendo.
You're not going to stop the accessory people though.
But here's the thing.
You might can stop the media sites and YouTube channels, but the accessory people, they trying to jump on that right day one. They're gonna have these accessories cheaper.
Yeah, it's not like they had an actual Switch 2 shown off. Like they 3D printed an equivalent. So I mean,
no. Genki, the last one, the people who released the last video that showed the attaching and detaching, they said they have the actual Switch.
Yeah, they have it, but they didn't show that. They showed a 3D printed model, which is different. You could get away with that. They couldn't show if they were actually saying, "Here's a Switch 2, we got one." They would definitely, I guarantee, Nintendo would do something. But anyway, this stuff is just all hyping stuff for Nintendo anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here's my theory. Nintendo has always shut down people who've leaked other games before time. But these are all just hardware renders, and I think maybe Nintendo knows that the secret sauce is not the hardware, because it's just another portable.
Yeah, imagine all those Xbox games on that Switch 2, right?
Right. I think they know the secret sauce is the games. That's what everyone's waiting for. We want to know what's the next 3D Mario. What's the next Mario Kart going to look like? What's the next I don't know, Splatoon going to look like? What's the next Zelda going to be like? What's the new art style going to be? That is what gets us excited as Nintendo gamers. And so I think
the hardware, like for me personally, I can only speak on myself. The hardware would definitely get me excited if they have better hardware than that Switch. The Switch is complete utter dog shit. The games is definitely the selling point. I agree with you on that 100%, but they got to get that hardware together. They go on the hybrid way with the handheld. It got to be comparable, man. We can't be doing these bad frame rate games like they did with Bayonetta in 720p and all like that with the handheld. The dock has to do much more, which I'm hearing that it might do. But the fact that it is NVIDIA based and the whole DLSS stuff, that might help as well. But yeah, the hardware definitely going to excite me because I think the Joy-Cons is dog shit. The Switch Pro controller is cool though, but the Joy-Cons, if that get a bigger button or just a bigger ergonomics in itself, that will make me happy. Yeah, I'm waiting for the Metroids and I'm waiting for the other games as well, but I definitely want to see what this hardware is doing for sure. 100%.
So Jay, are you so when you say it like that though, does that mean are you on a hold right now if this thing comes out in March or April? Or are you buying?
I'm definitely going to see what
He's buying.
No, I want to see what the performance is going to be. Well, I want to see like how the performance is going to be. Like
1080p Pro, right?
At best 1080p 60.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, like if that is locked in like that, that would be a cop for me. That would be a buy.
Cake batter with the super chat. Mooch says you only got 3 minutes.
3 minutes to read this. I appreciate. Shout out to Cake Batter, by the way. He says, Mooch, you only got 3 minutes to read this. I only had the 30 seconds left after he posted it. Shout out to the great Danelle Brown, by the way. He says, I have a question since we're talking about handhelds. He says, what is the point of an Xbox handheld that is going to run Windows when I can get a handheld that runs Steam OS? Windows runs like crap on a handheld. Shake my head. Shout out to the great Danelle Brown. He also says, I'm sorry, Giants fans, for what the Raiders did to Pierce this Monday. We are a terrible, dysfunctional franchise. Listen, let me tell you something. I hope Pierce comes back and runs our defense. We want Pierce back in blue, baby. But shout out to the great Danelle Brown.
Well, there is no point to it, right? Like the handheld situation. Unless they can come out with a handheld that can play everybody's Xbox library, like that they have now. Now I'm not talking PC library. I'm talking the Xbox library. Then it won't matter because it's really like, kind of farting in the wind. Otherwise, there's already a ton of PC handhelds out there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I don't understand what that point would be at that particular,
They're supposedly, what you're saying is what they're teasing, or what Jason Ronald was heard talking to Tom Warren about is that they want to make it where basically your vision, where you could take your games anywhere and you could play it, and you get achievements and you can stop and play and go from a Xbox to a PC or Xbox to a phone, vice versa. But the reality is that from my dealings or knowing of Microsoft's, is that's a great idea. But the implementation is probably 2-3 years away. So for to even be talking about it, I gotta see it to believe it. Like
Steam really kind of took some of their lunch too with their whole OS thing. They're like doing what Microsoft has been talking about doing, but they're doing it before Microsoft. So Microsoft always is either too soon or too late with things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like I mean, honestly, they're either too soon or too late. And it's just really kind of a weird situation to be in. It's like they get there way too early with some stuff, right? Like you can tell,
right.
Sure, if you're an executive or whatever, you're going to be like, well, why can't we just stream our games, and that way we don't gotta just build expensive hardware and take the losses on that and stuff like that. They don't factor in that people don't want to pay. I mean, I don't know anybody who's lining up to say, hey, I want to pay $70 to $100 for a game that I can only stream. Right?
Yeah,
right.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But they've been talking about making their library for two years ago. I mean,
yeah. And yet they stopped backwards compatibility, right? Their most popular,
exactly.
The people loved. You know what I mean?
I hate to say, I used to be such a positive Xbox fan, but it just really soured on me looking back at just some of the things they've done and said. And just looking at the timelines and stuff like that, they talk too much. Like you guys talking about Nintendo, and I hear Mooch say, "I'm getting it no matter what. I don't care." That's the reality of their brand recognition.
That's a good point, too.
You know, that's how good they are.
Yep.
And the fact that none of their games have leaked is amazing. Like with Xbox, they leak shows, they leak everything the day before. They have so many leaky faucets in that pipeline that it's just they're not professional. Like you look at Nintendo, they're gonna have 3 games that we don't even know about, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god!" And they're gonna, of course, build what they always do: is they build anticipation. They have people like Mooch that's in the millions. It's like, I don't care what they do. I'm just getting it. It's Nintendo.
I gotta have it, Tim. Right? We grew up
That's
playing
the brand recognition of them. So Xbox brand recognition is all over the place. What the hell is it? It's an Xbox. My beanbag is an Xbox. Whatever the hell they're going on with. They just missed the boat.
Hey, it's
so
definitely
many
not
times.
the same. They're definitely not the same. Like Tim, you remember like back in the day, back when we were doing BGST, like the executives made us feel like we were all in it together. We were fighting the good fight. You know what I mean? They don't do any of that stuff now, right? They don't talk to fans. They don't do anything, dude. I can remember Greenberg fucking stopping by a podcast with like 20 people in the podcast, right? Like watching it. Like he would just hop in. Like I think it was me, you, and Blam or something. I don't know.
That was it. It was Blam.
Yeah, like people just randomly, like you'd see a Barra popped in the Mooch's podcast multiple times, just randomly, right?
Yeah, we were like, is that the real one? Was that the real one? And then on my Twitter, I checked it. He goes, yeah, that's me. I'm really in there. I was like, oh shit, that is Mikey Barra.
Me and Mooch interviewed the head of the whole
Greg
Duncan. He's now the head of the whole Xbox Studios, but we interviewed him right as Sea of Thieves was launching and found out a lot of interesting stuff. You know what I mean? Like one was Microsoft didn't really believe in that game too much at first.
Yep.
Which is why that game was super bare bones. It wasn't until it was really popular that they started sinking money into it.
That was fun, man. Those were some really good times, to be honest with you.
Also, we found out, that he had no interest in doing. He had no interest in doing like old rare stuff. Like we brought up, we're like, hey, why don't you do Banjo or why don't you do this? And he's like, we don't want to do that.
I'm a big Star Wars guy. I would love to see you watch it. Give it a try. But
Jay,
the hell is
Jay? Are you talking to us?
This guy's out here.
I think
he's on mute.
Jay,
I had to say it like 3 times.
We got a whole podcast going. I'm sorry.
My man,
I'm a big Star Wars.
He's
guy.
I'm a Star. I'm like, we knew Jay.
Yo, my bad. My bad. I was jonesing.
No, but the truth of the matter is.
Hey, P-Rock, don't kick my shoes, man. Don't kick my shoes.
I'm at Netflix and chill. Right here, live there. What we doing?
No, I mean, and that's part of the thing that's kind of bittersweet was they used to have monthly updates, and they were so involved with the community.
Yeah.
And they had so many great people like Mike Nichols, Albert Pinello. They just honestly
out, like Major Nelson did a Rocket League match with Mooch.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they were very welcoming and they were very open. And
I wasn't welcome, but I mean,
but the thing was is that went away.
Yeah,
I can say honestly,
somebody's got to clip that. I'm sorry to say, somebody's got to clip
honestly, that went away though when the talk of that Activision deal was like kind of like the precursor of.
Like Tim, I had messaged Phil. This was when rumors of Xbox games going over, and he had responded to me. Anything that he does or that he has to do is to help Xbox long term, something along those lines. And I think I might have shared that with you, the correspondence I had with him, and I knew. When he responded like that it was true.
I gotta ask. Okay, Tim, if Xbox was so good and great back in the day, why were you caught sleeping in the show? Why were you? That
wasn't the show. That was what happened. Was that I went out the night before, and I don't drink at all, and I had 3 double Long Island iced teas. And I got told
that's the New Yorker right there. That's a New Yorker.
I know, but it wasn't during the show. It was during the pre-show, And what happened is that I was completely knocked out. It just goes to show you, wise old gamer, you were thinking that it's during the show. You're totally clueless. No, but I'm just saying the whole internet thinks that. But the reality is that I drank 3 freaking double Long Island iced teas up on some Skyfront or whatever. It went crazy.
This is the man who will hold his fire water, man. This is good.
No, I don't drink, bro. No. So I was totally drunk.
Tim, they don't know. They don't know about the Long Island.
Mooch, if he ever shows up on Wasted, he's fucked. He's fucked if he ever shows up on Wasted.
Yeah. So then we came there, and then we get there in the morning. They usually have these big buffets. And they have anything. They didn't have any of it this year. It was a completely different setup because it was different. So I didn't have anything in my system. I remember South got some guy to get me coffee. I was really beat up. But that was the pre-show. We were all waiting for everything. And midnight, he's a guy in the Xbox community, was just taking pictures. But that wasn't during the show. But that was the
but you do realize you're going to take that photo to your grave. They're probably going to.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. Maybe if I was an Xbox fan, still,
they're going to make a bust with that image of you, man. They're going to make a bust with that image.
I mean, everyone has it, but no. But the reality was that they really were. I mean, I have to give them kudos. Back in those days, they were really community friendly, and they definitely were different, but the corporation became the corporation when it got real, and that was when, pretty much when Activision just the day after it was announced, I could sense people would change. And that whole time was super stressful for Xbox. It was the 2 years and the blockages, and I mean, there was so much riding on that. They became back to 101 corporate. They don't really interact with the fans. I mean, Phil's very good at that still, but he doesn't. He used to answer questions every week.
It did go you were saying, Tim. It did go from like that corporate, like in the 360 era, where they lost touch a little bit with the Xbox One reveal. Then they opened up. They were, like you said, everything. Aaron Greenberg, Mike Ibarra, Phil. Shout out to Southbound and Down, by the way. Southie's great great guy in the community as well. Still talk to South here and there. And Southie got a couple of games, and like you say, Major Nelson, Phil joined games with us. It was a really great period of time. And now with, like you say, it really was maybe a year or so before the Activision, when the big bucks started rolling out, Bethesda, GameWorks, and of course that's where it went back to corporate. But again,
it's where Game Pass exists.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it just changed a bit. I don't see it ever. It'll never go back. That's why I said that. We were saying it before the show. It'll never kind of go back to that.
All of you guys complaining that Xbox, they are making money. You can look at Phil Spencer and see that he's on Ozempic, and he's making money. So
he don't need Ozempic.
No, he doesn't. He don't need that. I think that's just stress.
Have you seen the last thing? He looked 40 pounds lighter.
No, I know. I saw
last
people.
Time Phil looked pretty good. Last time, the other time, what that meeting was, he looked like stressed out. But the last time I seen him, he looked back in his form.
He's back in form.
Well, he used to always tell me. He says, that stuff doesn't bother him. They pay me well. So, and that's the reality is that the guy is a multimillionaire. I mean, just for me in his position. I would have just, if once that whole thing came down and Amy came down, I would have just been like, you know what, I'll resign. What else? I'd rather go down with.
I thought for sure he was going to resign this year, Tim. Last year, I thought that was going to be like with all the stuff that was happening. Xbox was selling like shit. I was like, "There's no way he's going to stick around
I think
longer." They're clearly grooming Sarah Bond.
No
history in gaming.
No,
I
think
she was a T-Mobile executive. Yeah, that I heard that didn't even know what the X button was on. They were still playing games, and she was asking people. This is told to me from somebody who was there that she's like totally clueless. Didn't even know what the X button was on the Xbox controller. So
I think Phil,
she's really betting down on this. This is everywhere. The Xbox is your freaking your beanie bag or your sushi or whatever the hell that shit campaign. I mean, they're just so out of touch. They're so out of touch that, quite frankly, they're just not. There's no. I don't think there's any way that they can get out of this hole. I really don't. And when I say that, What I mean is that they're never going to have a console. They're never going to be what they used to be. If anything, they're just going to be a slimmed down third-party publisher that, like, studios like Ninja Theory are either gone or they're made independent, like Big Toys or whatever
Toys for Bob, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they're not.
Here's what people should fear. Here's what people should fear, Tim. If they start doing, they might not realize what OEMs is, right? But if they start going the OEM route, that would be like the death blow for Xbox, because basically it means they're pulling out completely and everywhere. And here's the rub, right? If Xbox pulls out completely of, let's just say they pull out of, Europe, right? Then there's a big
Why should they be in Europe, though?
Yeah.
So let's be honest. Like let's say pretend we're all at a table right now, and knowing the numbers that they know, and this is a thing that the people on Twitter and all these people that get angry and that don't want to be realistic about it. The fucking console is, excuse my language, tanking.
No,
it's tanked beyond belief. Now, if we're going to say that, why would you even think about bringing a console into Europe when it's 10-1? Mm-hmm. And where your brand recognition isn't like Mooch, where it's like, I'm going to get anything in the 10.
Well, and think of it from a developer point of view, right? Like, developers aren't gonna fuck with Xbox,
right?
Like, they think you guys, and people go, and whenever I bring this up, that game trailers guy always is like, well, we see the Grand Theft Auto and this game are still coming to Xbox. I'm like, those games were in development for 5, 6, 7 years. Of course they're gonna come to Xbox. It's that next batch where you're gonna start seeing people go, oh well, is it worth it? Like, we already see some people questioning, is it worth it to do it? But like, if Microsoft can't fully get behind their own hardware, developers won't, right? Because it's up to Microsoft, and stuff like CES is where, go look at the Xbox On documentary. They have to woo developers. You have to you have to get them to like what you're doing in order to get them to put their games on it, right? So like, people think that, it's probably not that difficult. I know people will go, oh, well, Final Fantasy, they've said they're going to put their stuff on Xbox, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they've said they'd like to, but if you look at it, they were quick to put it on PC, and there's no exclusivity left on those Final Fantasy games, right? They could come to Xbox anytime, but they aren't. You know what I mean? Like right now, I mean, they might eventually, but they don't seem to be in a hurry. And that's probably because, a couple of reasons, because a lot of people don't buy stuff on Xbox and the install base is so low. That's why I always say to the people that go, well, exclusives are changing. There's no such things as exclusives. I'm like, well, console exclusive is still a thing. There's a lot of people like me who will never play on PC. I only play on console. And so it still means something. I buy all the consoles for the unique experience that they offer, right? Each of them have their own exclusives. Nintendo does their thing, Sony does theirs, Microsoft was doing theirs. But it's like, if you can get that experience on a PlayStation, and also PlayStation games on a PlayStation, and also they get all the big third-party games, and Xbox doesn't, it really puts Xbox in a rough spot.
And if you're a third-party developer and you're saying to Xbox, well, look at what you're saying. You're saying everything's an Xbox, so we're just putting it on Steam and PC. Well, that's it. We're just going to put it on PC. We don't want to incur the other costs because you can get it on PC. It's an Xbox, right? I just think that they have so many things going against them. I just don't know. I don't know what their plan could be to get them out of this rut. And to say they're not in a rut, you're just not being honest with it. If you're saying that they're doing well, I don't think that they're doing well. Game Pass is not where they want it to be. It's not even close to their projections. Yeah, their game sales for physical sales and software sales are way down because of Game Pass. That's their console is done.
They don't mess. Yeah, they don't miss when they have big server. Because I know we don't talk about sales. They don't talk about sales anymore, and that's fine. But they do talk about what is it there? Subscription service numbers and user base, right? Yeah. When people stop by to play this game, 40 million people turn the game on. Like they love those statistics. So we haven't seen any of those yet coming after Call of Duty. Really, nothing that's surprising. Anyways, nothing that would have shown a large.
It was like 8 billion people ate a ham sandwich while calling in a drone.
Yeah, it was like, all right. Well, shout out to Jay Barry.
Funny because I mentioned that, right? Because they're like, it's the most successful launch ever. I'm like, didn't for Modern Warfare 2, they mentioned they did over $1 billion in sales that weekend that it launched, and now they're not talking numbers; they're talking, all this weird stuff.
I mean, they don't talk about it. We don't even have Game Pass numbers. We have to find out through court documents what the actuality of numbers are. They're just so hidden, and you know what? That the reason why they're hiding is because it's not good.
Yeah,
it's not. If you realistically look at it, if you really look at their future, why would you even make a console? You're going to spend all this money, and you're not going to even make a dent.
I'm really surprised. I mean, they want to still stay in the console race, and that's the thing that I don't quite understand. They're going to have a console in 26, 27 coming out. I really do think they're going to have something in 26. When they say where there's smoke, there's fire. We've heard this way too many times now. I think they're going to have something. I'm just shocked, to be honest with you. If this console, they have a $299 SKU out there, if that's not making moves, I mean, what are they going to come out with that? A handheld? And I mean, I'm going to get to the handheld thing in a second here. Shout out to Jay Barry. He says, Mooch, you have 5 minutes to read this. Let's go Xbox. Shout out to Jay Barry. I know the panel's having a little fun with me right here. The Wise Old Gamer says, Mooch needs 50 to make him holler. He goes, he gets paid to do the wild thing. Shout out to the Wise. Shout out to Wise for being here. OG, by the way, OG's back. He says, stop disrespecting anyone who wants to give you free money just for laughs. OG, I truly am happy that, and people are like, block. I'm not blocking you. I want you here. The panel is talking, and I wait till there's a break in the discussion to go to the super chat. I don't wait an hour. I don't wait 50 minutes. I never asked for a super chat. I'm very grateful for anything I'm just letting the panel finish. I don't want to cut somebody off in their passion as they're speaking their speech to just run over and interrupt them with a super chat. I want them to finish theirs. Then I want to ask the super chat question, and then it invokes more conversation. I think that's what's great about super chats is it brings the audience into the show. I even read people's just responses in the chat. I've been doing that for 10 plus years. I do this because I love podcasting. I truly do. And I appreciate.
There's a method to the madness.
I'm trying. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not saying I'm a professional or I'm the best, but I read them, and I want the questions in the super chat to invoke conversation, but I also don't want to interrupt. I've invited these people to be on the show, and I would like to hear what they have to say. I don't want to just interrupt them in the middle of a conversation. So I do appreciate it, OG Gamester Mac. I appreciate it. But what people don't realize that are maybe listening to this show that aren't reading the chat was you're yelling at me for not reading it, and you've only sent them 3, 4, 5 minutes, and you're like, how come you're not reading it? I'm like, well, people are talking. We don't have dead air on the show. So I'm trying to do a good show here for everybody. So I do appreciate it. Wise Old Gamer, when he was talking about Tim, he says, to summarize Tim Dog's statement, candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker, which is, that's very true, Wise. I think that was the great Gene Wilder will agree with you. OG Gangster Mac is back. He says, Xbox did not borrow money from the bank to buy Activision. They borrowed from themselves. They made $3 trillion, not by listening to you and you guys and your investments.
Okay, first of all, Xbox wasn't the person who made $3 trillion. It was Microsoft. Second of all, we're not talking about the financial gain. And in fact, I'm very happy with Microsoft's business paradigm because it's making the stock go up. And I'm okay with that because the profits are there. However, we are talking about from a gamer's perspective, is Xbox providing what we're looking for as a fan of that console? And maybe the answer to that, maybe yes, maybe no. That's what we're talking about, not the money.
Man, you're being too nice. Listen, OG, dummy. Listen, I'm gonna just be honest with you. All right, Satya took over the company when it was worth $500 billion. He turned it into $3 trillion. How did he do that? He invested in projects, and he got more money back from those projects. So if you give Xbox $70 billion, then he needs more than $70 billion back.
Right.
That's how you become a $3 trillion.
Yeah.
You don't become a $3 trillion saying, here's $70 billion, give me back $10 billion. It doesn't work that way. Xbox has to give him back more money to grow.
But
there's a lot of pressure.
But let me tell you from the perspective that I get, the money that Microsoft is making, I'm not going to say the 90%. I'm going to say the majority of the money Microsoft makes on a day-to-day basis is through the use of corporations through their OEMs, through their Azure service. Their Azure service is the one that is making them the lion's share of money. Back in the day, it was Windows, but now they can't do that anymore with the OEMs out there. So the money is coming from majority Azure. The second is coming from their subscription models with Windows and Office, and that everything makes a tertiary 5% later on. Everything else that they do, it combined, whether the Surface acquisition, the Surface account, everything else is a paltry 5% of their total income generation. That is how Microsoft makes their money. And if
nobody said that they went to a bank anyway.
Yeah, the point, the problem is you got the Xbox community thinking that Microsoft is okay with Xbox burning money.
They're not.
No.
I'll tell you one.
Xbox needs to be profitable, and they have to make that $70 billion back. It's not
100%.
Yeah, they have to make it back.
One of the things that was, I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to say this to piggyback you. One of the things that always stood true to me was somebody in Microsoft said to me, "Tim, you might not like the Xbox after the Activision, acquisition," and he talked about return on investment. And that's exactly what happened. Once that thing went through, they were asking, "Where's our money?" And that's why they went third party, and that's why they went crazy this year, because they basically have to make.
Yeah, they got to show the money. They got to show them the money. I mean, that's.
Let's look at it this way.
It's common sense, right? Like you go to a bank. You have maybe $10,000 in the bank, and you go to the bank, to the loan officer, and say, "Hey, I want $20 million to open a business." And the bank says, for some reason, okay. Guess what? They're going to ask you the next day, "Where's my fucking money?" You know, that's plain and simple. That's in any business, not just this one, but anyone.
Oh, gee. There's a reason why Microsoft left the phone business, and now they're crying because of how Apple and Google run their business model. They should have just stuck with the phone.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have to worry about all this nonsense. But they did it. You want to know why? They weren't making money on phones. So they left. Yeah. And phones is a very lucrative industry. You know, if it doesn't make $1, it doesn't make sense. So they're not letting Xbox get a free pass. They're not gonna be like, don't worry, we're in the Xbox business, so OG Mac could come on Crossfire podcast and talk shit.
Right?
Nah, bro, that ain't it. What you thinking, bro? They're doing this to make you happy? No, they believe Xbox can make money, but it's got to make money.
Yeah,
they want that $70 billion back plus interest. That's how they grow to $4 trillion. That's how they're going to go to $5 trillion, $6 trillion, $7 trillion. Everyone who's in Microsoft, they have to be all on board and make money. That's just how it is.
It seems like common sense. It really doesn't. Like you said, and Tim, you had that, that information that was given to you behind the scenes. But in all honesty, once you spend $70 billion, like P-Rock just said, you go $70 billion. They want $300 billion back. Like they're not going to just say, "Oh, okay, we made $10 billion," because you guys are showing those numbers. That's not enough for that investment. It's just not. And now it's more corporate again. And that's the same thing.
But it was never Call of Duty. I mean, everyone fails to recognize that Microsoft wanted King as well. And King, and nobody talks about that. That's where their cash cow from the Activision purchase is coming from, is that King stuff. Because those moms who play that Candy Crush stuff, they are insane when it comes to that money. So, yeah. And people don't want to talk about that. They also want to say, "Oh, this, and this, and that." That's why Microsoft predominantly bought that corporation, was for King. So,
yeah, no, I do agree with that. I do want to switch over real quick. I do want to talk about this because one of the topics I did have here, and I do have it as a title as well, the NVIDIA 50 cards. And Jay, we could sit here and say, I know predominantly everybody on the panel except for Deathsinger being the PC guy here, but like in all honesty, like. I do want to get Jay and P-Rock and Wise's opinions on this, but Singer, I'll start with you. Singer, I was and shout out to the great slow-mo backslip and gave me Forte.
P-Rock got to buy a 5090 and he got to abandon his PlayStation.
Yeah, let me know if that happens, P-Rock. But I mean,
and give up my first son. And
he's got a pro. That's the second son. That's the second son.
I'm caught up now, P-Rod. Trust me, I caught up on all the videos now. So
even Abraham, right? even Abraham was asked to sacrifice Isaac. There you go.
So Deathsinger, the one thing that was revealed, okay, so we're looking at the 5090 for those that are out there, and correct me where I'm wrong, Deathsinger, I know you have the actual numbers, but like the 5090 is going to be going for a retail of $1,999. And the one that the card that everyone's talking about that's made a lot of the news because of what NVIDIA has said publicly is, and tell me if I'm wrong, the 570, is it the 570 or do they even have the 570?
5070.
5070 is reportedly not raw power wise, but probably with DLSS 4 and some other attributes to it. For $550, they're claiming 4090. So Detzinger, you know this from having the powerful rig that you have. That's not entirely true as far as raw power, right? So the 5070 is not going to give you with the 40. I think a lot of people that have 4090s are going to hold on to those cards personally.
I would think too, because this is like the perfect, if you're going to upgrade, so let's say you're on 40, 70 and below, right? Let's say you're running a 30 card, right? This is the perfect upgrade, because for one, NVIDIA finally got the price right for what you're getting, right?
Okay.
It's actually a reasonable price card for once. NVIDIA, did something, it must have snowed at CES or something. I mean, there's snow inside the place, because that was wild in of itself, what they're offering for the price, but yeah, it's not, you're not going to give up your 4090 for it. If you were rocking a 4090, you're going to be upgraded to the 5090.
Okay, I was just going to ask
that's
you,
your
but
territory.
Singer, let me ask you a question. If you and do you currently have a 4090, Singer?
No, I have a 3080 still.
Okay, so
because I'm smart.
Okay, no, and that's fine. I'm running right where you are here, Singer. So wait, so would you expect somebody who has a 4090 card right now? Do you expect a major jump of people from 4090 to go to 5090?
No.
So will this, in fact, maybe deter NVIDIA when they go to the 60 series to either make a legendary jump forward, or they'll wait longer in between releases of series?
Well, they've already made great strides between the 40 and the 50 series, right? With the DLSS 4.
Absolutely.
Multi-frame generation.
DLSS 4 is major improvement. 4 is a major improvement.
It is over 3, because for what they're saying with the whole AI thing and the multi-frame generation, before it would only do like 1 frame, but now it could do 3 additional frames. So
right,
it's gonna be a game that you might not be able to get there. You could get to the performance levels you want with frame gen, and it'll be even easier now, but obviously that's latency. But if you're rocking like a 4090, you're not really going to go for like a 5070, because bear in mind DLSS 4 will still be on the 40 series cards, right? There's only some features that are exclusive to the 50 series. But I don't know, it's like...
I think the 5070 is a great deal, though. I know the AI, people want the raw performance, but if you are getting that type of performance through AI, which is something that is going to be a part of gaming going forward, and a lot of these GPU cards, these consoles are going to be implementing, it's a great deal for that price. You know what I mean? Like, I can see a lot of people going for something like that, because who's not using DLSS and who's not going to turn on these AI features if they're working properly? And all that. So
why is Jay? Let me ask you a question, and honestly, I don't know this answer. Why are people talking about the 57 and they're leapfrogging right over the 5080? They're leapfrogging right over. It's either, I hear people say 5070 or 5090.
The price. But going from what, 550 to 1,000. If like the 4090 is a beast, I get it. It's not raw performance, but AI upscaling and all that stuff, you're getting that type of performance for 550 or whatever it costs. Of course, that's going to be the talk of the town where people want to talk about it. But yeah, I mean the 5080 is probably going to be the most popular one as far as like the enthusiasts. They're probably going to get that $1,000 card. But me looking at PC, I'm not like heavy into PC gaming and all that stuff, but I do have a PC. Most likely, I'll probably get like a 5080, but the 5070 is a great price. I'm not going to shit on that. That for 550, getting that type of performance, regardless if it's AI upscaling and all that stuff, I think that's great. In my opinion.
Okay, no, and Jay,
that might be the casual opinion, but to me, I was like, yeah, the price is great.
That's the future. I mean, the computational power you need for 4K, for native 4K, is a lot.
Yes.
And then, and we're eventually going to get to 8K, and we can't even get 4K right. This is already this is why Sony's doing PSSR.
That's right. I was just gonna say that.
That's the way forward. Everybody got to get used to it. If people are upset that people attribute it to that, they need to optimize the games for native resolution, they're not gonna waste. Imagine trying to natively run 8K. You're gonna pay $5,000 for a GPU? Like,
yeah,
this is the way. all these AI upscaling techs. This going forward. This is how they're gonna judge performance and stuff with AI upscaling.
It's the
fake frames. Get used to it.
It's the only way to run stuff because it's like, PC and consoles have the different consoles. They have to lock the frame rate, and then the resolution's all over the place, right? Because they go, oh, this game's running at 4K 60. You're full of shit. We know it's not native 4K, right? It's at like 1620p or whatever, and it scales up and down, right?
Okay.
Now, PC, you could go, okay, let me throw on that native 4K. Yeah, throw on that ray tracing and watch you get 20 FPS with a 4090. Like, you need DLSS, because it requires so much horsepower to render games as big as something like Cyberpunk, right?
Yes.
When they showed you a 4090, they turned on ray tracing, turned off DLSS, 20 FPS. Or from a 4090. The best card you can get. That is just ridiculous. That shows you how hard it is to process games now. So, of course, they leaned more into DLSS, which makes sense. AI generation.
Yeah.
So now they can eight times the frames or whatever they said. We have to see what the real performance is because we know NVIDIA likes to say, we do this. Yeah, show me it in actual reality, not what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But even at that price, like the 5070 will be so popular just because of the price. But it's also a much better upgrade if you're coming from an older card. Like me, 3080, I was like, oh, I could go to the 40 series. But I was like, I'm hearing NVIDIA's doing something good with the 50, so I'll wait. Oh boy, I'm glad I waited, because that 5070 for that price.
So that's Singer, you kind of that was my next question. So Singer, are you upgrading from a 3080 to a 5070?
Yeah. Yep, day one. I'm just waiting for him to go up.
Okay.
Snag one because
when they release it this month or next month.
It's February for the 70. It's the 80 and 90 in January, I think.
I think all of them are going to resell them, but yeah, the 5070, yeah, that's a great price, man. You can't deny that.
Jay, you brought up another point. So do you guys think that this is going to be another situation where we're going to have the scalpers and it's going to be a problem again, and they're going to like we're not going to be able to buy these through NVIDIA on day one?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's going to be hard. Most likely, they're going to go through the other companies like the Asus, and they probably get the MSI ones. That's probably going to cost a little bit more. But yeah, getting those, what they call it, the
Founders Edition.
Yeah, Founders. Yeah,
The thing is, though, you probably want to go for other ones because, like, I mean, as good as the Founders cards are, do you have a preferred brand? Like, I like MSI, I like Gigabyte.
Yep.
I like a few, like Asus.
Is that what you're doing, Singer, or are you going to go? Is that the brand you're going to pick?
Oh, well, it depends what cards they have available, right? Because Asus, Gigabyte, MSI, they have to produce their version of the cards first. So whatever's on offer day one. If MSI has a card day one, I'll get that.
Okay, so have they already ramped up production is my point. I thought those folks came out like a month later. I thought NVIDIA kind of had the market for a few weeks. That's not the truth. I don't know. I'm asking.
No. They'll come out because NVIDIA in of itself, like these other companies are going to want to make their own cards and they're going to have them available day one. And
they already showed them off. Some of them already showed them off.
Yeah, some of them already because, they want to be ahead of the curve. People have their preferred brands. Like some people think like MSI is better than like Gigabyte, or me personally, I don't really care about that. I just get whatever's, the go-to card. But I mean, the 50 is great, and the best part is you could say, I'm more powerful than the PS5 Pro. So you have that going for you as well.
Knock it off, Singer.
Easy there, Singer.
The
throwing a jab there at the end there.
Trying to.
Well, so Impatient Fire says, I'm not upgrading to the 5090. The 5090 is only giving 3 extra frames in Black Myth Wukong. Framison is nice, but not nice enough for me. I'll wait for the 6090. Well, the 6090 could be 2-3 years from now, right? I mean, by the way, Impatient, that's you have every right to feel that way. Go ahead, Singer.
The thing is, that's the beauty of PC, right? You don't have to get the 50. The way a lot of people see PC is it running your games at the frame rate you want? Is my current rig that I'm running now, if I want all my games to be running at 4040p, 80 plus FPS, right? If my PC is no longer giving me that on all my games, it's time to upgrade. If I'm still getting that right now, why do I have to upgrade?
Right.
I'm still getting my experience that I want. So, but like people, I skip the 40 and I'll go to the 50. People who went to the 40 might skip the 50 and go to the 60 because it's only incremental and you don't really have like the generational leap. It's only like the tech.
Yep.
So, and everything's future proof. Like if you buy a 50, you're good for the next 8 years. You're good. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, no, I think that's valid there. Porter Rock, I do have a question for you in the chat here. Otaku says, I have a question. PC guys were shitting on the PS5 Pro and the upscaling and paying for PSSR not being in the base console, but now it's okay with the 50 series. Very interesting. P-Rock, you've taken many videos on PSSR. What is your thought on that?
Listen, this is the truth, man. As a console war veteran, right? PlayStation Salt pays very well. You get lots of views. I'm just telling you that right now, right? Like somehow, some way, we just PlayStation. I mean, when you're number one, it is what it is. Making fun of Xbox is a punch down joke. You need punch up jokes. Those are the ones that are funny, and that's just how it is, man. Anything on PlayStation. I mean, recently this whole topic, but the whole Wukong thing, right? The developer came out and saying they're having problems. Somehow people made PlayStation Salt videos saying PlayStation fans are making claims. Like, wait, hold on. It was a developer that said it. How the fuck we got involved in this combo? But it is what it is. So at the end of the day, in all seriousness, I'm glad Sony's going with PSSR, right? It's the first iteration. Of course, it's going to have its licks. The DLSS, when it first came out, it had its licks. In fact, a lot of people didn't even like it, right? But here's the thing. I guarantee if Xbox did something with their console, that would show energy that they still care for consoles. And that's another thing. That's another thing why I don't understand why so many people got upset over the Pro. That shows Sony still is interested in a console. They're still interested in console technology. They want to advance console technology for gamers. So even if you don't like PlayStation because of the games or whatever, you could at least respect the fact that, you know what? I don't really care about those one and done over-the-show third-party games, but I can respect the fact that they're still all about the console, which speaks more than what Xbox is doing, because they hardly talk about the console. They even say outright that they want to change the identity, redefine Xbox, while PlayStation, even in a recent interview, saying that the core business is the console, and they don't see a reason to get out of it anytime soon. So at a minimum, even if you're an Xbox fanboy, whatever, you should be able to at least respect the fact that, you know what? Whatever the opinions about the Pro, but the fact that Sony is still trying to do something, invest in new technology, and still trying to appease the core console fan base, I guarantee that's at a minimum, that's what you want out of Xbox, and you're not getting it. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and like you say, PSSR is in its infancy. I mean, you're talking about we may see through what we have with the PS5 Pro for the next 3-4 years, a PSSR 2.0, but you certainly will see something like a 2.0 or 3.0. I think it's going to PS6. And I think that, like you said, that should be applauded in a sense that you're seeing an effort moving forward on the console side. Because Detzinger, you've said it yourself. I mean, you said it a few moments ago. DLSS 4 is going to be. I mean, it's a major improvement. So as PSSR continues down its path, I'm hoping if the money and R&D and the PlayStation executives hope to keep with it, well, then I think we'll see significant increase in performance on the console side using that software-based technology.
Well, you'll see a lot more of it if they stick with it and they develop it properly, and they spend the time R&D in it. Like NVIDIA has spent a lot of time on DLSS and AI, and they're really pushing in that direction, and they've been pushing super hard in that direction, and they've gone the hardest they've ever gone in that direction. So they are completely on board with pushing the We need to use AI for all the rendering solutions. We need to get AI incorporated into gaming. As much as people may not like it, but AI is doing shit that you couldn't do before. So it's going to help out with a lot of stuff, and we'll have to see what the 5070 does. But I did have to. Someone in the chat said 12 gigabytes going to hold back 4K gaming. No, it doesn't. See, the thing is, you have the option on PC at what resolution. 12 gigabyte card is not good if you want to do 4K gaming. If you want to do 4K gaming, go get you a card that will enable you to do 4K gaming. The 12 gigabyte is enough for someone who wants to do 1080p and 1440p. See, nothing is held back on PC. The only thing holding back PC are the developers releasing bad ports on PC. Like, the hardware, you can have that game run at whatever you want. If you want that game to be 120, 1440p, go get yourself a rig that can do that.
So in your opinion, and Jay, I want to ask you, because I know, Jay, you recently got a PC as well. I have a 3090 Ti. Is that, and you might say, geez, no, that's up to you. And of course, it's up to the consumer.
It is up to you.
But it is. That's the right answer.
Unfortunately.
But I mean, do you think it is at the stage of a 3090? Is that something that it's time to upgrade?
Well, the question I have for you is what I mentioned earlier. Are the games running how you want them to be run?
Well, see, here's my problem is a bit more of an issue than just the graphics card, the GPU. You guys all know this. I've said it a million times. My PC build is from 2018. I have a 27. I think the 8700K CPU came out in like 2017. I need a new motherboard. I need a new CPU. So I figured if I'm doing all of this and I have a 30, I'm going to keep this PC for editing and doing videos, doing, the broadcasting, Twitch streaming. But I would want to build possibly a new one, and the 5070 card or 5080 card maybe what I need. I don't think I need to spend all that money for a 5090, but I could see a 5070 or a 5080 if I have to rebuild. Anyway, I need a new motherboard. I need a new everything. This is what's holding me back right now, is even playing like a game like Warzone or something like that on PC. I'm not able to even get 1440p and be, clearing a 80 plus frames. It's kind of chugging along, if that makes sense.
Well, the remedy for that is if you're happy with the way the graphics cards perform, upgrade your CPU and then see what it's like. Because upgrading the CPU is a lot cheaper than upgrading the GPU, right? You can get really good CPUs cheap.
Correct. You can get a decent CPU, and I can get, but I do need a new motherboard, because there's any of the new upgraded CPUs. My motherboard will not. It's not going to play nice. It just won't work.
It also depends what your motherboard supports, right? Because it's like, does it support AM4? Like for AMD, because my processor is AMD, right?
Right.
It's is it an AM4? Because the problem I had was my motherboard supported AM4. But it didn't support AM5. The new motherboards did, and my CPU is AM5, so I'm like, great, I have to upgrade my MOBO. So my motherboard's upgraded, but if you choose a mid-range CPU, you have to look at your motherboard and see what it supports, because you might be surprised. It might support whatever you go to. You have to go read what your motherboard supports. But the 3090 is still a great graphics card. It's still going to do what you want to do.
It really is. And I have been thinking about that. I have thought about just building a new PC and just bringing over the card and updating everything else. So that is something. Jay, let me ask Jay Barry. Jay, I know you and I don't want to speak for Persona. Persona's not here, but I thought you and Persona both got gaming PCs as well. Jay, where are you on the 50 series? Are you on a hold right now, or you want to buy?
I'm looking to upgrade. I got a 3080 Ti.
Okay.
I'm looking to upgrade, so I'm going to upgrade like my the GPU, and I'm going to upgrade the power supply just to support everything. I might do a whole overhaul. You never know. We'll see. But yeah, I'll definitely upgrade. I'm looking at the 5080. To be honest with you,
okay.
I think that's where my eyes are set on. But we'll see. I'm also looking at that Switch as well, man. So we'll see. I'm at that waiting period where okay if it looks good, and you know the people that I watch that does the PC stuff, they said that this is good to go, and then I just go and I get it.
Yeah, I think
what I was gonna do.
If it's available.
Right.
What I was gonna say is, unlike when the stuff released before, it wasn't like scalping now isn't as popular as it was because they're not really limited edition anymore. Like back in COVID, it was the whole thing to do, right? Was scalping and it was big, but like when the 40 series came out, the 40 series was readily available. Like there wasn't shortages on the 40 series cards, so I think the 50 would be the same way. Because they understand they'd probably produce more. So I would imagine it'd be the day one, and I would upgrade. If you're building an entire new rig, though, Mooch, you may as well get yourself a new graphic card at that point. If you're getting an entire new PC build,
that's my
throw
point.
a 5070 in there.
That's my point, Singer. I would rather you use the word future-proof, and I know a lot of PC gamers don't like to use those terms because in the PC world you're never future-proof, right? But like,
you are. You're just not the new generation of cards proof.
Right, exactly. Yes. Okay. Good. Very good point. I get where you're going with that. But I think your last sentiment was exactly where my mindset is. I've been kind of budgeting for it. I said, all right, I didn't know what the 50 series were going to bring. If I'm building everything up from the ground up, I'm going to keep this PC that I have here. It's going to be way overpowered for the things I'll be using it for, just making videos or something like that, or transferring the Twitch VODs over to YouTube. But I have the capability of having something to be able to push through it. That way I could use the other PC as the same way I use my PS5 Pro. When I'm using PS5 Pro for streaming, I can then use that as the powerhouse and just as a dedicated, in air quotes, PC console. It's doing only PC gaming. I don't have to use the new build to game and push out the stream. I'll have the other computer do the PC push out of the stream, and I'll be able to use the actual build, the new build, for the game itself. Liquid Tada, he says, what games are PC players playing to get the most out of these cards? Interesting question. What do you think?
Everything. All AAA game releases. Like, it's like when Cyberpunk launched.
Well, yeah,
I love to use that example because despite how bad it was, like if you look at a maxed out path traced on PC, 4090 running a full path trace Cyberpunk on max settings,
yes,
you look at that. That is only possible on PC.
So, Singer, I see where you're going with this, but I think where Liquid's coming from too is the games you would list, probably not in any order, but like Black Myth Wukong, right, would be able to handle frames at which we saw that debuted and it was shown on that video that went viral. Games like you just said Cyberpunk, maybe Red Dead Redemption. Is Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC now? It is, absolutely, right?
It is.
Right?
Yeah,
that game would probably play very well with it. But I think what like Liquid may be getting to is like the same thing that like a lot of PlayStation fans were getting crap for. Like, oh, the PS5 Pro came out. Oh, what new game are you going to play on that? Of course we have to wait for. We saw a lot of updates come to the older games that we're enjoying. Like, I'll give you an example. Even Black Ops 6 looks a lot better on the PS5 Pro than it did on just the base PS5. Lucifer says, and I love how Lucifer always pays $6.66. I'm sticking with my 9700. GRE still works great. I don't think. What is the 9700 in relation to an NVIDIA card?
The AMD.
That is. I thought, right? Yeah. What is the 9700 translation over into an NVIDIA card? That Singer.
For that, you'll be looking at them. We could just quickly bring it up real quick. So that's like a 4070.
I can't blame Lucifer for not wanting to leave that at all. I think anybody who has a
4070 is a great card.
It's a great card.
If you see, the thing is like people are at a point now where you don't have to upgrade. The only reason you want to upgrade is because you want the latest and greatest and the best and the top tier, right? If you just sat there going, I just want to play my games the best I can play them, stick with your card, because all the latest AAA games coming out in 2025, you'll be able to play them at 1440p, max settings, 120 FPS. Throw on some ray tracing, throw on the DLSS, and call it a day. Like, there is nothing really taxing so much anymore that you need to upgrade. It's like if you're running the 1080 and you want to play like I don't know, like look at Dragon's Dogma 2, right? That had its own issues, but if you had a crappy graphics card, you weren't really running that game. Space Marine 2, you're not really running that game very well. It's gonna be choppy, the frame rate's gonna be garbage. So, I mean, upgrade when your PC can't run anything anymore, basically. It's like, oh, I'm playing what game comes out this year? Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm only getting 40 FPS at max settings. Or it's like I have to lower the settings to below 1080p in order to get a decent frame rate. It's probably about time you upgraded, my friend, because you're not getting the experience you desire.
So Liquid Tadai says, let me rephrase. What PC-only games are you looking forward to playing, basically, on your 50? You know, to upgrade. I mean,
PC-only games. I mean, if you wanna be like that, there's like thousands of games released every day for PC. PC-only games 2025. I don't know. Like there isn't any.
All the greatest PlayStation games coming over there.
Hey, well, I mean, if we're talking about that, I can't wait to play Rebirth when it releases January 23rd.
I'm sure you're very excited.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're very excited, says Jay. That's great.
I'm very excited for Rebirth. You're damn right. Hey, Barry, I would have thought you'd be happy for me playing your favorite game.
I am happy for you.
He just wants you to play that game.
If I don't see you playing it, I'm kicking you off the goddamn podcast.
You're going, Jay. You're going after Crap's shins, I believe. Is that not? That is correct, right?
Shin. I'm a professional shin kicker. So, yeah.
Shout out to.
Listen, I'm definitely gonna be watching a lot of PC gamers, and I'm looking at their timelines. I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm just gonna be DMing them. Hey, Rebirth.
Hey, Rebirth, everybody. When is that? When is Rebirth coming out for PC? Do we have a date now?
I think it's
January 23rd.
Oh, yep. Wow! All right, great game. I don't need to.
I'm double dipping or triple dipping on it.
I don't blame you one bit. Shout out to Lucifer. He says Soda Drinker Pro Ray Tracing Edition needs a 5090 Mooch. Lucifer just sold me on a 5090. Soda Drinker Pro.
Wait, what did he say?
Soda Drinker Pro Ray Tracing Edition. He's just kidding, of course. The great Lucifer, everybody, at 666 again. I love it. Outstanding. I do want to say thanks. Go ahead, Singer.
Did you see what they're doing for Rebirth on PC? They're pulling out all the stops on that bad boy.
Oh, let us know. What are some of the stops they're taking care of?
Let me see if I can find the tweet. Because they were the mods are gonna go hard. But they were like fully improved lighting. Improved lighting, enhanced visuals. Mm-hmm. They're bringing obviously 4K native, 120 FPS, mouse and keyboard support, DLSS, full DLSS functionality into the game.
Okay.
DualSense support, so if you want to play with your DualSense, you could do that. They haven't said anything about widescreen, which is interesting. But it's funny looking under the post, because when everyone's looking at the trailer they put out, they're like, wow, this game looks absolutely gorgeous. And it does. And the enhanced visuals and improved lighting, it goes a long way with that game from the looks of it.
Well, you said
issues that people had.
You said you were going to buy it, that Singer, but you said Avowed comes out weeks after.
Yeah, but I could get done with this before Avowed comes out.
I don't know about that. That's a long game.
What you mean?
Jay, that's a long game.
Oh yeah, Rebirth is a long game. I mean, if you're doing everything, like me, I got almost 400 and some hours.
I was saying, Jay, you're over 3. I knew you were over 3. I didn't know you were over 4.
Yeah, well, I'm close. I'm very close to 400. I'm like at 386, something like that. So I'm close to 400, not over 400. But when I beat the game, I was like at 160 something hours, and to platinum the game, I was over 300. Because the platinum, this is by far the hardest platinum trophy you will or achievement.
I saw you in Persona. And I said, no. Honestly, Jay, you and Persona have talked me into playing a bunch of different games that were outside of my genre. But when you said, and then sometimes you even talked me into getting a platinum. But when I saw what you guys went through for that, I was like, no.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, I got the guides and stuff for people, my own strategies.
That's right.
And guides to help people get past the most difficult areas in the game. So You know, what I mean, you PC scrubs that I know y'all trash at games. I got you.
Oh, coming from the guy that always wants to turn off crossplay with PC because he, can't handle the smoke.
I never turn off crossplay. That's just me joking around with the idiots that believe that. I've never turned off crossplay in any game. To be honest with you.
No. Shout out to Domino's here. I appreciate the super chat, but I will say this: it's been going on 3 hours of the show. I want to say thanks to these guys for sticking around. Crap, Tim, P-Rock, Wise, they were all like, listen, the family's calling. I got to go, Mooch. And some of us got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is the truth, by the way. That is the truth. I want to say thanks to everybody here. Domino Zero thing, and thank you for that super chat. Thanks to everybody out there. I do appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate all the chat. The chat keeps the show alive. You guys are phenomenal. I'll do a couple of shout outs as well to the folks that had to leave early. I'll promote what I can promote from them. I'll start in reverse order and say, Jay Bari, outstanding as always to have you here. Love it when you can join the show. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like 3 hours just flew by. And that's because of how great you guys are and how much you bring to the show. Jay, let people know where they can find you. And I did see your tweet, but I'll let you announce it. I'm a little sad about Saturday, but I'm not going to say nothing about it. But Jay, let people know where they can find you. Thanks for being here tonight, Jay. It really means a lot.
Oh, yeah, man. Appreciate the invite. Like I said, it's been a kind of like hectic day. It's been busy, personal life and stuff like that. But I'm definitely going to try and get back into the mold of like creating more videos. I have been creating a lot of Marvel Rivals content. People take it however they want to take it with that. But no what's up PlayStation this weekend. We'll be back next weekend because this weekend is my brother's birthday. So just gonna be chilling with the family.
Absolutely.
And whatnot, so.
No, family first, Jay, for sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely like I said, try to get back in the mold and do what I got to do out here with a Jay Barry show on my channel. But yeah, appreciate the invite. And hopefully y'all enjoy your day. Make sure y'all play your games. And all you PC gamers, make sure y'all buy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's the best game you'll play on that dog shit PC you have.
Oh, so. Jay, he's so rough on that.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I apologize.
He's like, I'm so sorry, everybody. My fault. Was the microphone on? Shout out to the great Jay Barry, everybody. And what's up, PlayStation? Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern. Great to have you here, Jay. The great Death Singer. Honestly, I know, listen, sometimes the PC stuff, you really get the crowd going, Singer, but I love it. I also value your opinion. I love that you have enthusiasm, and much like
it's the truth, Mooch. It's like shout out to the PlayStation guys, beta testing Rebirth. But now when I drop that 5070 in there, I'll be playing an experience none of them have experienced before. The definitive version of the game. So
there it is.
I'm all here for it.
Yeah, there you
Frame
are.
rates they never thought possible.
There you are, console gamers. You heard it first here from Death Singer. But Death Singer's
Death Singer won't be playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at 4K 120 frames because he ain't upgraded his GPU yet. So he's
I game at 4040p, which is what the game runs at anyway. So hey man, it is what it is.
You'll be at 60. The best version you can play right now is on PlayStation 5 Pro. But on the 23rd, shout out to the PC gamers. Make sure y'all buy that game, yo. Real talk. I'm not playing with you PC gamers. Make sure you buy the goddamn game. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely buying it with that 20% discount. Shout out to CD Keys. But
and like I said, if you need any tips and tips and tricks, just hit me up. I love that game, and I know that game like the back of my hand. I know a lot of strategies, and I'm willing to share them. So
shout out to Barry. Go over and check out the channel, man. He does have a lot of videos on that. So go over and check out Jay Barry. Shout out to a couple people that had to leave earlier. Shout out to the great Tim Dog. That's at PSN Tim Dog. Great to have Tim back on the show. I've known Tim for over 10 years. Great to have Tim here to start off 2025. The Wise Old Gamer, it's at Wise Old Gamer. He's going to be going live tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern on his channel. So go over and check him out. Porter Rock, that's at Porter Rock 77_. He does 60 Frames No Lag podcast over on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe. Shout out to the Crap Gamer. Crap had to go a little bit early, but he's always here. He's here every Thursday night. It's at _Crap Gamer and it's Crap Gamer Reviews over on YouTube. And the great Gaming Forte couldn't make it tonight. It's always hard for Forte. He works. He goes right in doing DPS. I believe him and Slow Mo are doing DPS. I just checked at 9 o'clock. I didn't see. Maybe they're going a little bit later, but shout out to Forte, that's at gaming_Forte, and also at Slow-Mo Backslap. They do DPS Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. Go over and give them some love and tell them Mooch sent you. Guys, we'll be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. 2025 feels great. It feels alive. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year. I think this is going to be one of the biggest years. You've got Borderlands 4, Mafia, the old country. You've got Judas. You've got GTA 6. You've got Avowed. You've got so many games, Ghost of Yotai, and other games that are not even announced yet to see what's going on. I think we're also going to be seeing Death Stranding 2. A lot of things coming this year, and I know there's a couple games, Shadow as well, Assassin's Creed Shadow. Just this year's packed. This year's packed. We got so much to talk about. Nintendo Switch 2 console release. Guys, I'm just telling you, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Be here. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Tell people you know to hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Tell them to come over and go over and check out Mooch on twitch.tv. Mooch TV everywhere. M00CHTV. Drop the O's for zeros. Guys, we're doing a lot on Twitch, and we're starting, the great James Vincent and I, we're going to be doing at least 3 nights a week. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're definitely going to want to be there for that. Until next week, guys, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday. Peace out and good night.